Why did you want to tell your story in this book?
I believe that it was the time that I tell my story and the truth. It is a lot of misinformation and falsehoods written about me, and I want to put the record straight, and people can learn some things that they were never discussed, and I hope they enjoy the book.
How did you feel about Donald Trump running again?
I support him. I know how passionate he is to make America great again.
We saw you backstage at the RNC. Do you want to talk about why you decided not to come out on stage and give a speech like you did in 2016?
It was my decision. I think was just the time. I think was the right time. In days before, I wrote a beautiful letter to America.
Yes.
And I think in one way that letter was my speech.
The raid on Mar-a-Lago, the house manager texts you and says the FBI is outside the house. They had access to my bedroom, closets, office, and rummaged through my personal items. Even searched Barron's room, you say. So how invasive was that? Did it make you angry? How did you feel?
Yeah, it made me angry. Yes, invasion of privacy. And the way it was done I was really surprised.
And you told your house manager, just leave it, don't touch anything, don't put it back. You wanted to see it for your own eyes. With your own eyes, what did it look like when you walked back in your house that had been raided?
I saw unpleasant stuff that nobody wants to see it. And you get angry because, nobody should be putting up with that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Some person, I don't even know who or how many people, they went through my stuff.
So while we're waiting for Trump to come out and do this speech in Walker, Michigan, I thought it'd be pretty cool to listen to Melania tell her point of view on a number of different things. And this was an interview that Ainsley Earnhardt had done with her, I guess in promoting her new book. But she digs into a couple different things that I think people need to hear. If you haven't heard this before, I think it gives a great insight into how she's feeling. So I've got the first part that I'm going to go ahead and show today before this talk in Michigan, and then the second part I'll show tonight before the town hall.
The assassination attempts, the first one is in Butler, Pennsylvania, and you write about watching the assassination attempt on TV, and you started working and you were distracted, so you pushed pause. I think your chief of staff maybe called you and said, he's okay, but there's been a shooting. What happened next?
I ran to the TV and I rewinded and I watched it. I was only a few minutes behind, and something, I guess, looked over me. So I didn't really see live, but maybe, 3 minutes, few minutes later. But when I saw it, it was only, nobody really knew yet, right? Because when you see him on the floor and you don't know what really happened.
So you called him and he didn't answer his phone, and you called Secret Service. Mm-hmm. And what did they say?
First, the Secret Service was not available too because they were with him, right? And then after that, I got the Secret Service on the phone and they said that he's okay. We are on the way to the hospital. He will be okay.
And were you able to talk to him on the phone eventually?
Yes, I did.
And then your son rushes into the room.
Yes.
And he had been told, your son is in college, I understand, but he's still your child. This is his father. How difficult was that to have that conversation?
Very difficult. Very difficult. He was outside playing sport. Mm-hmm. And he rushed in and was very, very difficult.
And then a few weeks later, there's another attempt on your husband's life at your golf course. Where were you and what was your reaction to this attempt?
I was in New York City, actually, and I saw it on the television. And as soon as I saw it on television, I called again. And he was okay because Secret Service were great. The guys that they were with him, they were fantastic. And I think both of the events, they were really miracles. If you really think about it, the July 13 was a miracle, like that much, and he could not be with us.
And he normally doesn't call for that one screen. He waits till the end of the speech. So just looking at that screen allowed him to turn his head.
Yeah.
And he said it was providential. Does this make you believe in it more, in a higher power? How has that been for you?
I think something was watching over him. I think it's almost like country really needs him.
That maybe God's sparing his life.
Yes.
And then we were told this week, and we were told that authorities have already known this for a while, that there was an Iranian plot to kill your husband. So I watched this video that you released on social media questioning the first assassination attempt. For the second one, if they knew that there was this plot, why didn't they sweep the golf course?
You know, it's interesting how quiet and everything became, all of the mainstream media. There were a few days reporting about July 13 event, and everything then became quiet. So I had a lot of questions. What's going on? This is not normal. And is it really shocking that all this egregious violence goes against my husband? Especially that we hear the leaders from the opposition party and mainstream media branding him as a threat to democracy, calling him vile names. They only fueling a toxic atmosphere and giving power all of these people that they want to do harm to him. This needs to stop. This needs to stop. The country needs to unite. And I encourage everybody to read my letter that I wrote on July 14 again, because that cannot continue.
Letter was very powerful. What made you get to the point of writing that letter?
That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
How do you feel when people say they don't like him? What do you wish they knew about him?
That he is really a family man. He loves his family. He loves this country. And all he wants to build better and prosperous.
Yeah, he's just strong. He's not afraid to
No, he's not
talk
strong.
about the way it really is.
You could see the way he was when he was shot, that in the ear, that the way he stood up and he said, fight, 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 because we cannot allow that to happen.
Okay, becoming First Lady. You wrote in the book when you found out you were watching Fox News right here in Trump Tower, and you write, I vividly recall Brett Baer's announcement, the president-elect is Donald J. Trump. And he looked at you and he said, can you believe it? And you said, yes, I can. Your life immediately changed. When did it hit you? I am the First Lady of the United States.
I don't know that it hits you, but you know that you have extra responsibility.
You talked about having special bonds with First Ladies, with the wives of prime ministers. Who really did you, when you were just there with them and you had to sit at the dinner table and talk, I'm sure some were just incredibly fun. You really bonded with a few of them. Anyone come to mind?
It's interesting because when you meet many times, you establish a relationship. So with Mrs. Macron, Brigitte Macron,
she's fun.
She's fun.
Yeah.
We always had great laughs. And with Aki, Mrs. Abe, and I'm so sorry what happened to him. So it was very special relationships with, with each of them.
You've also traveled to visit our soldiers. You did that at Christmas time. You left your family. It was in the dead of night, and you fly over to Iraq to bless the troops. What was that like for you, and what about the reaction from the troops?
It was a very secretive meeting, and when we arrived that night, the energy of the soldiers, we walked in and everybody started cheering that they see us. Like, what a big surprise.
They were not expecting that.
Not at all.
So what makes Donald Trump want to do this again?
All he wants to, as he says, make America great again. He wants to make this country prosperous, safe for everybody. He wants to make American dream possible again.
What was your reaction to Kamala Harris replacing Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee?
Well, how I see it is the record speaks for itself. The country is suffering. People are not able to buy usual necessities for the families. We have wars going on around the world. Soldiers are dying. They were dying under this administration because of weak leadership. The border is open and dangerous. A lot of fentanyl is coming over, killing our youth. It's very hard to see. And an economy, it's really not great. Inflation is high, and if we compare these 4 years under this administration compared to 4 years under my husband as commander-in-chief, he was leading the country through peace, through strength, and the border was safer than ever before. We didn't have any wars. People were prospering. They had jobs. They could support their families. So I think American people need to decide what they really want. Maybe some, strong tweets, but everything else great for this country. So it's all in the American people's hands on November 5th.
It is in all of our hands on November 5th. I would take mean tweets in a heartbeat not to have to deal with the crap that we're dealing with under this administration. I think every single one of you would agree. Let me first say thank you guys for being here. Thank you very much. 1:30 in the afternoon, middle of your day. Thanks for tuning in. I know you have options. Number two, let me just say this and get this out of the way. Robin and I live on the east coast of the peninsula of Florida. We're in Boca Raton. The storm, Helene, went through the west coast over there in Newport Richey, Tampa, all through that area. They got walloped. We were spared. We had beautiful weather because as a hurricane comes through, it sucks out all the moisture and you're left with a nice day. So, of course, thoughts and prayers are out for everybody over on that side of the state that are dealing with this. And I'm talking to some of the people who work with us, Franklin Graham Samaritan Purse, and see if we can't put up some sort of donation as the recovery begins and people start seeing what's going on over there. We want to help. We want to help. I don't drive a tractor, don't have manpower to send over there, but we can get some money together to help the people who, I've just seen some horrific pictures. We're used to them, but they're still horrific. We're used to seeing the flooding. We're used to seeing the alligators and the snakes basically just in people's backyards, but it's nonetheless, it's not pleasant. I saw a video today, it kind of made me chuckle. There was a guy and he had a kayak. And you just see the kayak, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm in my living room, and here's my kitchen, and he's kayaking through his house. Guy had a good sense of humor. He knows it's material. What really counts is the lives And I just thought today I wanted to start things a little bit different because of all the things that are happening with the hurricane as it's now making its way up through North Carolina and through Atlanta and up points north. People are really going to suffer. And as of the time I flipped the button to go live, I still haven't seen Dementia Joe waddle out there and say, hey, listen, we're mobilizing and getting everything out there. Haven't heard anything from Kamala either. I don't understand what's going on with these people. It seems like they don't care about Americans whatsoever. Not at all. So anyway, at 2 o'clock, so we got 10 minutes, Trump is going to be talking on stage, and this is going to be at a plant in Michigan. At this plant in Michigan, it's not a, again, let me preface this. This is not a rally, although it may seem a little bit raucous because people are starting to get excited. They can feel it. They can see what's happening. They can just absorb the momentum. So it may seem a little bit raucous, but it's not a huge rally. It's at another company where he's going to be talking about the economy and manufacturing. Since he's in Michigan, he's probably going to talk a lot about the auto industry as well, because that's a big thing. So we got this talk coming up, and then tonight should be very, very interesting. It is a town hall format. I don't know who the moderator is going to be yet, but he's going to be taking questions from the audience, not the press. I love when whenever he does that. And Ronald Soriano, who comes in all the time, who used to follow me when I used to do my dolphin stuff, going back and forth with him, he's like, I hope he just doesn't do the same boring talk he always does. For the most part, what he's doing, just so you know, in case you realize that not understanding why he's doing this, it's not just for you who have seen it before. As we're getting closer to the election, there are people who haven't heard this message. Why? Because the media is not putting it out there. So he does have to hit on the same bullet points over and over and over again. Those of you who are in marketing, you understand. To get someone to basically grasp what you're saying, you have to hit them 5 to 7 times with the message to let them know, hey, listen, this is what I'm all about. So, and that being said, I was teasing Ronald and I said, how often do you listen to the same album or the CD? I'm dating myself. You know, you like the song, you keep listening to it. Yeah. There are people here who like what he has to say. It makes people feel good, even though many of us have heard it many times. I've gone to a number of rallies. I've basically broadcast live every single one of his rallies. And so, yes, I've heard many of these things said over and over again. But it also gets me excited. It tells me that America's got some hope, that we have something to look forward to. And man, we all know we need that right now. And if you don't, there are other people out there who definitely need some help. They definitely need some encouragement. All they've heard for the last 3.5 years is doom and gloom. And then when they turn on the television by mistake or whatever, and happen to listen to somebody on the nutty side of things, it's like, you got to be kidding me. This woman's a complete blithering idiot. It can really affect the way you think, thinking that this woman could be president. And she very well could be. Whether they cheat or she's installed or they take Trump out, we're looking at something that's basically a walking, talking horror movie. Can you imagine? I just want you to sit and think, what would it be like if she was president? I think everybody should look at that. Let me see who's walking out here. Oh, they've got some speakers, but I'd rather talk to you guys. So understand, yeah, you may hear some repetitive things. You may hear some things you've heard before, but now we're down to the stretch here. We're turning the corner, that third turn at Daytona. We're on a track, and now it's a sprint to the finish. And now you got to bring it. And that means all of you as well. You got to talk about it. I just have to say thank you. When I had asked a couple of you guys to basically begin talking about things on Twitter and hit me up, I never imagined. I never imagined what would actually happen. Again, with email. I'm creating a new email, so you guys don't have to send me personal email, because I get alerts. I go, hey Barry, take a look at this video. Hey, did you see this? All kinds of tips. So I'm gonna create a central email so that April and Ashley can help me go through these things, and I want to make sure everybody's replied to, and that understand it's greatly appreciated. Secondly, yes, we gave away 3 hoodies yesterday, and that's why it cut off, I think, at like 7 o'clock p.m. But I told you I was going to give away 1 today and then 1 tonight. So if you want to win a hoodie, go ahead and go to fanfareshop.org. It is on once again. You can go ahead and enter. If you've previously entered, you're still there. And then I'll be able to actually hit the button, and it's going to pick, at the end of this show, I'll go ahead and pick another winner. And then tonight, when we do the town hall, we'll pick another one there as well. So go back, fanfareshop.org. That's what the hoodie looks like. And you can indeed sign up to win one. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. So where are we now? They're introducing people. It looks like it's at a factory, and it's a good-sized crowd. I'd say there's a couple hundred people there. It almost looks like a mini rally, like just a bunch of people in a really condensed format. I'm sure these people had to go through all kinds of security screenings just to make sure that they were involved in this thing. So as they bring these people out one at a time, I've often told you guys that working on these rallies, I can't imagine how this 78-year-old man does it. I just don't know how he does it. The energy he must have to expend. And on top of all that, between being a husband and a grandfather and a dad and a candidate and people wanting to kill you, he's got to go out here and deliver these speeches, knowing that I don't know who's in the audience. I have to trust that people have been taken care of. I can't even imagine. But even myself, covering him, just sitting my butt here and talking to you people, and I have to do it sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And like last night, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take tonight off, meaning last night, because we did 2 yesterday, and just take a deep breath and understand you got to pace myself as well. But I got something I want you guys to take a look at. Every day, we can clearly see that we are living in a new realm of tyranny. We have a secret service that takes down the shooter, but only after he shoots our president. We have an FBI that fabricates cases. We have an ATF that actually wants to take away our guns. We have an FDA that favors big pharmaceutical companies over our health. Quite clearly, it seems that our governmental agencies have been weaponized against us, against the American people. In times like this, we have to stick together. We need to back that one man that literally took a bullet for us. And we need to fend off the nuts in the mainstream media and support independent media outlets that are not bought and paid for. And for the fight that obviously lies ahead, we need to stay strong and healthy enough to protect our families. We all see Trump doing rally after rally, and he always seems to have so much energy for a 78-year-old man. He tires me out, and I just cover them here on YouTube. Lately, I've been taking a supplement that the government is trying to take down. It's Black Forest Star Product NMN, and it's not because of the safety or the efficacy of the supplement. You see, they have no problem pushing a dangerous jab on us, but they don't want us taking products like Black Forest NMN, which is currently widely available to the public. Why are they doing this? Simply because NMN works. A study by Harvard claims that NMN can help reduce weight, cholesterol, and even blood pressure in somewhat overweight adults. It's the only thing I know of that not only slows down, but may actually help reverse many of the effects of aging. I've been taking NMN for over 5 months since I've been covering Trump, and now, honestly, I have to tell you, it's been a game changer. I've asked Black Forest to give my followers and subscribers a special discount because I want you guys to have a chance to get your hands on NMN before any potential restrictions come into play. For the next 48 hours, you can buy 2 and get 1 free. 3 bottles for 2. Black Forest Supplements is ready to fight for this. They want to ensure that people have access to NMN. But who knows what's going to happen? There may come a day really soon where the guys in the black SUVs show up at Black Forest trying to stop them from selling this life-changing supplement. So go to blackforestsupplements.com/Barry, check it out down below, and grab some for yourself. Take advantage of this buy two, get one free offer while it lasts. And we're back. All right, so it's 1:57. I'm keeping an eye on it. We're seeing the preliminary speakers coming up one at a time. Somebody said this is at a metal wall factory. What? Metal wall. Not sure what that is. All right, so let's take some comments here. Down with the Dems and all their agencies to bloody blooming you know where. Hello from Britain. Thank you very much for tuning in for Britain. Pennsylvania for Trump. Let's hope so. I want to see cackles. Oh boy, you're funny. Some of you guys just crack me up with some of the stuff I can't put up here, but it's just funny. You guys can see it, obviously. I can't put it on the screen. Really excited about the email thing. I have so much I'd like to share, and it isn't a great venue for that. Too limited. Also, I'm going to put my neck on the line here, and I'm going to say that the membership site will be operational by Monday. And what we're going to do is the first 100 people that enter, you get a free t-shirt. Not a free hoodie, you're going to get a free t-shirt. I can't give away 100 hoodies. I can give away 100 t-shirts. So we'll go ahead and get 100 t-shirts for the first 100 people that register. But the good part about it is, and listen to me here, I don't want Ashley and the peeps here to go crazy, but I'm going to make it free for everybody for the first 48 hours. And so what are you going to get inside this membership? You're going to get access to videos and different things that I can talk about that I can't talk about here, and you'll be able to hear me. Better than that, it's much better than simple comments here on YouTube. You'll be able to, and I know a bunch of you want to, you'll be able to go ahead and upload posts, pictures, memes, videos yourself within reason. Don't want to see anybody's you-know-what. I'm not interested in seeing your junk. This isn't OnlyFans. But you can post stuff yourself. We're going to make it so it's a truly interactive community, just not me talking at you. But hey, Barry, hey, rest of you, here's a video I think you should see. And so you're going to be able to post. I want to see your memes. We'll have meme contests. We'll do all kinds of funny things and have a good time inside this private membership forum that I'm putting together right now with Ashley. So we'll see you guys soon on that. I can't tell you, some people are like, what's the link? Don't have the link yesterday. Where do I register? Monday, I will have a big splash. In fact, I'll probably go live for about 15 minutes just telling you everybody, just get over here and do it. Again, it's not going to be like a typical YouTube membership. I don't want to do that. I just decided, nope, ain't going to do it. I want to have different content. I want to have content that I don't have to worry about that somebody's going to get pissed off and flip a switch on me. So in that regard, we're going to go ahead and do it off platform here. Plus, I want you guys to be able to engage and put stuff up as well. Now, it'll be moderated, so don't go putting up some really crazy stuff. I don't want to see some of the stuff that you guys might put up, but I can't wait. It's going to be a lot more work. It's going to be fun. In fact, I'll just leave it at that. All right. X is a much better platform. So some of you guys are really liking X. You're seeing stuff on X that you'll never see any YouTuber. Can't do it. There's so much stuff to talk about. So much stuff going on over there that basically you follow the right people, you're gonna have to be able to take your red pill. Oh boy, is there stuff, and it's only gonna get worse. Understand, the closer we get to November 5th, the more restrictions Facebook and some of these other places will put on people. They don't want you spreading the word. They don't want you spreading what's happening. They don't want anybody to know. It's only going to get worse. Like I'm telling you, we ain't seen nothing yet. We have not seen anything yet. God put protection on Trump, and God put protection on Elon Musk, because that will be the only place you can go to see certain things. James O'Keefe has got some stuff that's out there that's, whew, wow. Tucker's posting stuff. Russell Brand is posting stuff. These are all people who've been booted from here. You can't see their stuff unless you're over there. Just imagine that. There is an entire network of people who have so much content to offer that you will never see on any YouTube channel except maybe a snippet here or a snippet there. Can't do it. You just can't do it. So that's one of the reasons why I enjoy being over on X, as far as long as Elon's there and as long as they don't pass a law saying he has to shut it down, we can all basically talk and speak about things we normally can't. Peekaboo, here come the folks. What folks? Have you worked out a membership fee yet? No, I'm trying to think. All right, let's put it out there. Hold on. My allergies. Let's put it out there right now before he comes up. We're thinking, Ashley and I have been talking, and we're thinking about a $4.99 a month membership. I want y'all to tell me, what do you think about $4.99? Too expensive? Just right? Not enough? I'm worth more than $4.99? Y'all tell me. $4.99 a month. Is that going to work for you? Or should we do it tiered and say, okay, we're going to give you a $4.99 a month and a $2.99 a month? You tell me. Is that good? I'd love to see it. After Zuckerberg sent that letter of coercion from Biden-Harris, you think he'll censor again? He's already doing it. I've had a number of people tell me they're not allowed to basically share my videos on Facebook. There you go. So you get these big monolith companies, big companies like Twitter, big companies like this one, big companies like Facebook, and the people in charge of hitting the button aren't the people at the top. Even though Elon has cleared house, just told many people, you're done, you're fired, there are still people there who are hitting the button on certain conservatives. You know, people scream, they're like, Elon, I got suspended, or he doesn't know. He doesn't know every single person all the way down his tree. And some of these people still have access, and he's going through it, playing whack-a-mole. He's doing it. But it takes a long time. So if you've been on, and the other thing is, I've seen people tell me and show me, hey man, I just got suspended for something I said on Twitter. I thought it was free speech. Come on, man. It's free speech to a point. The guy showed me what he actually had tweeted. I'm like, dude, you can't say that. You wouldn't say. Think about it this way. You may want to and should be able to talk about 300,000 kids missing and talk about what's going on. I firmly believe that. You shouldn't be able to say that this NBA star is a effing you-know-what. That's gonna get you. That's gonna get you slapped. You can say, I don't approve of her play. I think she's an idiot. I think she's a moron. I think, she shouldn't be somebody, the blah, 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 blah. But once you start saying to somebody, you're an effing, you-know-what, put in whatever epithet you want. Who is this? Uh-oh. Got to bring this in. RFK Jr. just walked out, peeps.
Well, I spent a lot of money on getting on every state ballot in this country. We got 1 million Americans to sign their names to petitions. We built a network in every state in this country. The entire time, our polling and all the national polling was showing that the majority, about 57 to 60%, of the people that wanted to support me, if I dropped out of the race, they said that they wanted to vote for Donald Trump. So I was hurting Donald Trump. I was hurting the Republican Party. But the Republican Party did nothing to stop me from getting on any ballot. Donald Trump was critical of me in a way that was congenial, that was respectful, and that was kind. But he did nothing. Meanwhile, the Democratic Party spent tens of millions of dollars to defame me, to publish perjuries against me, to publish fake news against me, to marginalize me, to make me look like a crazy person, and they spent tens of millions of more dollars to get me to make sure I could not get on those state ballots. All the pundits from the beginning said, he will never get on the state ballots, but we did it despite those tens of millions of dollars and attorneys to sue us in all the states to make sure we couldn't get on. The Democratic Party sued me to keep me off the state here in Michigan, off the ballot. And the day that I announced for Donald Trump, they pivoted and sued me to keep me on the ballot. And so far, they've won that lawsuit. So my name is going to appear on the Michigan ballot. But I don't want you to vote for me. I want you to vote for Donald J. Trump. Because that's the only way that I'm going to get to Washington, D.C. and do all the things to help end the war, to end the chronic disease epidemic, to end the censorship, to end the surveillance, and all the other things that I entered this race to do. And I've been a Democrat my whole life, and I heard all of the descriptions of MAGA during the 2016 election, and I bought into a lot of them. And then one day I heard Hillary Clinton criticize Tulsi Gabbard for being a communist, a Russian plant. Tulsi Gabbard, who put her life on the line again and again for this country in military service, something that Hillary Clinton never did. And I began to have doubts about what I was being told about MAGA. And when President Trump got elected, I said 80 million people voted for him. How can we dismiss 80 million of our fellow Americans as deplorables? Oh, I don't want to work in Washington, D.C. I have a good job. I have a great life. But I want to help these kids so that we can end the chronic disease epidemic. And I went to President Trump, and I said to President Trump, if you want my help, I am here to do it. And we worked together for a while. But I started to understand that MAGA, for most Democrats, MAGA, Make America Great Again, means going back to the 1950s. And they say it's racist because we didn't have civil rights in our country at that time for Black Americans. They say it's dictatorial and it's against freedom of speech because that was the era of Joe McCarthy. And they say it's isolationist and retrograde. But the more that I get to know you and the more that I get to know Donald Trump, I understand what MAGA really means. And I asked Donald Trump about what he thought MAGA meant, what era we were going to make America great again. And he said, the era of your uncle, John F. Kennedy. And that was the era when America was at its apex, here and abroad. We were the wealthiest country in the world. We owned half the wealth on the face of the earth. The American middle class was the greatest economic engine in the history of mankind. We had a robust union movement that was making sure that American labor had dignity and good jobs. We had virtually every American believed in the accessibility of the American dream, which meant at that time that if you worked hard, if you played by the rules, you could afford to buy a home, you could take a summer vacation, you could raise a family, and you could put something aside for your retirement on a single job. There's no American now in my kids' generation, sorry, my duck is calling. There's no American now in my kids' generation who believes that that contract applies to them. This is a demoralized generation. In 2013, there was a poll in which Americans under 35 were asked, are you proud of the United States of America? And 85% of them said yes. The same poll taken 6 months ago, only 17% yes, said yes. We have an entire generation that is alienated, that is disaffected, that has lost faith, hope for their own futures, and has lost their pride in our country. And to me, that was one of the most tragic data points that I learned about in this election. We have kids, the greatest asset that I had as a boy was this intense pride that I had about the United States of America. And we were, at that time, the moral authority around the world. The people all around the world wanted to be in America. They looked to us for leadership. They knew the difference between leadership and bullying. They didn't want us making wars. My uncle was asked by one of his best friends, what do you want on your gravestone? And he said, he kept the peace. He said the primary job of a president of the United States is to keep our country out of war. He said that he didn't want African children and Latin American children and Asian children, when they heard about the United States of America, to think of a man with a gun. He wanted them to think of a Peace Corps volunteer. He wanted them to think of the Kennedy Milk Program, which gave nutrition to tens of millions of hungry children around the world. He wanted them to think of USAID and the Alliance for Progress that put America on the side of the poor, not just in this country, but all around the world. And those are the same ambitions that Donald Trump has. Today, my uncle kept any American soldier during his term in office from ever going to die in combat. Today, as a result of that commitment, there are more statues to John Kennedy, more boulevards named after him, more avenues, more universities, more hospitals in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and any other US president, and probably more than all other presidents combined. And that is a good foreign policy, to have the world love us. Don't you want a foreign policy where the rest of the world loves and admires the United States of America? And when he says, make America great again, that's what he's talking about. And one of the things that we learned at home is that we not only had to be virtuous as a nation, we had to be virtuous as individuals. We had to, for example, tell the truth when we did something wrong. So one time I hit a baseball through my mom's window and broke it. And my dad said to me, before you answer this question, I want you to remember what George Washington did. He cut down the cherry tree. This is a story every American knew at that time. His father asked him who cut it down, and he said, I did. He always admitted when he was wrong. And now, the Democratic Party has given us a loophole around that mandate. All you have to know is 7 words, and you never have to admit to doing anything wrong again. And do you know what those 7 words are? I was born in the middle class. Oh. So repeat after me. I was born in the middle class. So the next time your boss asks you why you were late for work, what are you going to say? And the next time your wife asks you why you didn't take out the garbage, what are you going to say? And the next time your landlord asks you for the rent check, what are you going to say? That's all you have to know, and you don't have to answer any question. And we know why she didn't want to answer that question, because there's no good answer to it. By every indicia in which we measure the welfare of our economy, the Trump administration excelled, and the Biden-Harris administration has failed us. Inflation on average during the Trump administration was held under 7%. Now it's at 20%. Gross rents have almost doubled. Mortgages have more than doubled in just 3.5 years. Groceries have gone up. Gasoline has gone up. Electricity has gone up. Healthcare has gone up. You know the only thing that's gone down? Wages. So though that is not a success story, and I don't blame her for not wanting to answer that question. It was a question that was almost impossible for her to answer truthfully and still walk out of that debate. So the Democratic Party that I grew up with, the Democratic Party of John F. Kennedy, of Robert Kennedy, does not exist today. This was the party of peace. Today, it's the party of war. And we saw President Zelensky come over here. I was so proud of President Trump today, who did a press conference with Zelensky. And the Democrats had done their own press conference, and you know what he got them to do? He got them to sign artillery shells. These are artillery shells that are going to be dropped on women and children. And he got them to sign something else, an $8 billion additional check. Don't you think we could use that money over here in this country? This was a war that we were lied to from day one. We were told that it was an unprovoked invasion. We weren't told that Vladimir Putin and every other Russian leader told us for 30 years, if you go into Ukraine, we're going to have a military reaction. It is a red line for us. Ukraine has a 2,200-mile border with Russia. They've been invaded 3 times through Ukraine. Last time, Hitler killed 1 out of every 7 Russians. If we put Aegis missile systems in Ukraine, like we've done in Romania and Poland, which they also told us don't go in there, those missiles, Tomahawk missiles, which can be nuclear tipped, will be 3 miles from Moscow. We could decapitate the entire Russian leadership in 3 minutes. My uncle, when the Russians tried to put missiles in Cuba, was going to go to war. And if Putin tried to put missiles in Canada or Cuba or Mexico, we would go to war. So we had to expect that they would do exactly what they told us we were going to do. And if you go into Ukraine with NATO, we're going to go to war. And 2 days before the invasion, Kamala Harris went to Germany and said definitively, for the first time by any US leader, we are moving NATO into Ukraine. And that is something that we all need to understand, that provocation. And I was so proud of President Trump because everybody says that he alienates people all over the world. He doesn't know how to be a diplomat. But he was the epitome of diplomacy, and I urge you to go look at the YouTube. He was kind and civil to President Zelensky, But he was also firm in his resolve. And he said, I've had a nice meeting, but I have not changed my mind. We need a peace, and we need to do it very quickly. And we need to protect U.S. interests, not an interest of a country in which we have no strategic interest and no treaty. And he was polite, he was kind, but he was firm in protecting our country. And that's what Donald Trump will always do. And it was especially impressive to me because I know what Donald Trump was thinking while he was having that meeting. He was thinking, I want to turn this guy over and hold him by his legs and shake all the money out of his pockets and hope it adds up to $208 billion because that's what we get, that's what the Democrats gave him. And we need to bring that money home and spend it here on our communities. Don't you think you deserve a president who is going to make peace with the world? Who is going to project economic power abroad? They say he's an isolationist. He isn't. He wants to make deals. He's a deal maker. He wants to make deals with China, but not the old kind of deals that benefited only China. He wants to make deals that are going to benefit everybody. He wants to make deals with Russia, the kind that will bring the world into a peaceful economic growth and a boom for all nations. This is what he says again and again. He's not a tyrant, he's not a monster. He just wants the best for the United States of America. And don't you... The Democratic Party that I grew up with was the party of constitutional rights, of civil rights, and particularly the right of freedom of speech, which my uncle and my father treasured. They thought this is the basis, a fundamental bedrock of American democracy is the free flow of information. And when government gets involved in censoring information, that is the beginning of totalitarianism. And we know this because we read Orwell and Aldous Huxley and Robert Heinlein and Alexander Solzhenitsyn and Arthur Kessler when we were growing up. And that was the lesson that was repeated in civics lessons again and again. The one thing that you never allow a government to do is to censor speech of any kind. And if you do that, is the first step down the slippery slope of totalitarianism. So the Democrats are trying to say that Donald Trump hates democracy, that he wants to be a dictator, but they're all advocating now, openly advocating the censorship of our speech. And what they say is, well, we don't want to censor all speech, just the lies. If they want to determine what's the truth and what's a lie. And who was the biggest perpetrator of lies during the COVID epidemic? It was the government itself. They were the ones promoting disinformation and misinformation. I saw this week Hillary Clinton, Tim Walz, and Kamala Harris all using the same talking point. That the next administration is going to get rid of misinformation and disinformation because that is not protected by the First Amendment. Well, it is. The First Amendment protects lies the same as it protects speech, truth. The First Amendment was not written to protect the kind of speech that we all want to hear. It was written for hard times, to protect the speech that nobody wants to hear. And that is the fundamental foundation stone of democracy, that everybody gets to say, to have their own truth. And as Louis Brandeis said, the remedy for bad speech is not censorship, never, because that turns to totalitarianism. The remedy for bad speech is more speech. And that's something that Donald J. Trump understands because he's been censored himself. And he understands it very acutely. He's seen the weaponization of the federal agencies to silence him. to destroy the electoral process as they did to me. The Democratic Party has not had an election. They're saying that he's destroying democracy, but they felt that the need to destroy democracy in order to save it. They would not let me participate in a primary. And Kamala Harris never got a single primary vote. We don't know who appointed her. And that's not democracy. President, don't you want a president who believes in democracy? Don't you want a president who wants to see the censorship ended in this country? Don't you want a president who's going to end the surveillance state and make our country the beacon of freedom around the world once again? And the party that I grew up in was the party that was very skeptical of the corporate control of American democracy. The Republican Party was the party of corporate control. The Democrats were on the side of working people, of the poor, of the cops, the firefighters, labor unions. And today, there's been an inversion. During the 2020 election, roughly 50% of the people in this country supported the Democratic Party, and roughly 50% supported the Republican Party. The 50% who supported the Democratic Party own 70% of the wealth in this country. The 50% who supported Donald Trump own 30%. As Charlie Kirk said to me the other day, Donald J. Trump chased the billionaires out of the Democratic Party. Out of the Republican Party, excuse me. The Democratic Party today is the party of big pharma, big tech, big ag, big food, the military-industrial complex, and Wall Street. Look at the people who are pouring money into the Harris campaign. This is why they've collected 2 to 3 times more money than Donald Trump. They have all the money on their side. We have the people. And don't you want a president of the United States who, instead of outsourcing U.S. jobs and manufacturing capacity abroad to China and to Latin America and to other countries, is going to get other countries to outsource their manufacturing and jobs to Michigan, like FALK that we're standing in now. And don't you want a president who is going to protect our border? And raise your hand if you think it's a good idea that the Mexican drug cartel, the Sinaloa cartel, is now running U.S. border policy. That's not good for our country. Do you think that's good for our country? No. It's terrible, and it's terrible for working people. In the last 10 years of his life, I worked very, very closely with Cesar Chavez, who was a very close political ally and personal friend of my father. And during that, and I was a pallbearer at his funeral in 1993. During that period, I was working with him on pesticide issues because Hispanic farm workers, 15,000 of them are poisoned, many of them killed by pesticide exposures every year, and their families are devastated. Cesar Chavez's other big issue was closing the U.S. border, because he understood, and I was at the border many times. The first time I went down between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, and I saw there's 27 gaps in the wall that were left by the Biden administration when they shut down construction the day they came into office. And all the material that we've already paid for is sitting right next to those gaps in the wall. They could easily rebuild them right now. President Harris says, there's nothing I could do. Yeah, there is. You could just finish the wall. And when I was down there at 2 o'clock in the morning, it looked like the start of the Boston Marathon. There were people, humanity pouring across, and the Border Patrol their job had been repurposed from protecting our borders to escorting people to the Yuma airport and sending them to any destination in our country. It's the most insane thing I've ever seen. And it's crushing the social safety net in our country. And the reason Cesar Chavez wanted to close the border is he saw that all these illegal migrants who were coming across were destroying his capacity to negotiate for good working conditions and good wages for his American workers. And that was obvious at that time, not only to Cesar Chavez, but the entire Democratic Party. Today, because President Trump said we need to close the wall, that's the only thing that they hear. If Trump says it, it must be wrong, so now we're up for an open border. Don't you want a president who is going to reassert control of the US government of our immigration policy? And, you know, my uncle Ted Kennedy, who was 50 years in the United States Senate, he wrote a law called Title IX. And that law, and he got Republicans and Democrats to support it, that law created equality in women's sports because he said women ought to be allowed to compete, and they ought to have the same rights as men to compete. And that's something the Democratic Party believed in. But they don't believe in it anymore. Now they're against women's sports. And finally, the Democratic Party that I grew up with wanted to protect the most vulnerable people in our society. They wanted good health for our children. And today, the Democratic Party is on the side of the big ag, big pharma, and big food companies that are poisoning our children. We now have the highest chronic disease rate in the world. Diabetes, which was virtually unknown when I was a kid. An average pediatrician in my year, when I was a kid, when my uncle was president, would see one case of diabetes, juvenile diabetes, in his lifetime, 40 or 50-year career. Today, 1 out of every 3 children who walk through his office door is diabetic or pre-diabetic. And it's costing us more than our military budget. Just that kind of mitochondrial disorder. This is bankrupting. When my uncle was president, we spent 0 on chronic disease. Now we spend $4.3 trillion. And our children are so sick and so obese that 77% of them do not qualify for military service. Our fertility levels have dropped to the lowest in the world. Teens today have 50% of the sperm count, 50% of the testosterone as teens, American teens 2 generations ago. Little girls are now hitting puberty at 8 years old because of all the estrogen that is generated by the poisons and toxic foods. We have 1,000 ingredients in our foods that are illegal in Europe. And the same companies, Kellogg and all these companies, are making products in Europe, and they don't use those ingredients there. So they know how to do it, but they're poisoning Americans when they know how to not poison Canadians or Europeans or Mexicans. And the average girl in this country is now reaching puberty between 10 and 13 years old. That's 6 years younger than a couple generations ago, and it is the youngest of any nation in the world. We are destroying our children. And that was the major reason, his commitment, Donald Trump's commitment, to make America healthy again. Is the primary reason that I joined this campaign. And don't you think that we want a president in this country that is going to make our country healthy again? Thank you all very much, and God bless you, and get to the vote, the poll on November 5th here in Michigan. And don't vote for me. Vote for Donald J. Trump. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. RFK, did not expect him to walk out. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I go, is that who I think it is walking out on stage? And sure enough, that's exactly who it was. And for about, I'd say a good 12 minutes or so, he destroyed the Democrat Party. And he explained why he had to destroy the Democrat Party. And unfortunately, unless myself and some other people push that message out, they are doing everything they can to keep him quiet. Talk about censorship. That's somebody they don't want talking whatsoever. I'm probably going to splice that and create its own video for that if they let me. Maybe I should put that on the membership site. But oh man, he brought it. He brought it hard. Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome. They don't want us to know these things. They don't want people to realize all these things are happening to us. And you have to imagine, there are some good Democrats. There are some people who are good. What is wrong with you? The stuff that the Democrat Party stands for, I don't know how good people could continue to support that. I mean, I was so disappointed this morning. I saw a letter that was written by, I don't know if she's the current or former coach at Notre Dame. Notre Dame, my favorite college in the world. She wrote this stupid letter, which I'm going to try and pull up right quick here, and so you guys can see it. This is it. I can't put what I said to her, but I'm going to put the letter. There's the letter. And this is kind of thing that just drives me absolutely bonkers. You know, she I don't know if is she still former. Okay, so she used to be the head basketball coach at the University of Notre Dame. And she writes this letter. It was her way of endorsing Kamala Harris. Sports are a microcosm of society. We showcase how a group of diverse people, white, black, straight, blah, 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 blah. And she just goes on and basically says that all of us, and this is the type of thing I would make a video on, but I can't say everything I want to say about what she wrote here. And you can actually see it, everything that she said. And she just goes on to basically saying, you know, either be a part of the solution or you're a part of the problem. What problem? I mean, you'd have to see what I wrote in return, but I wasn't happy at all. What problem? And worse than everything else, she blamed it on Donald Trump. She blamed Donald Trump for all the stupid stuff going on in the WNBA. You have a straight, white, phenomenal basketball player who came out and joined the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, who's phenomenal. And the rest of these women, who Don Imus would have something to say about, have been freaking out since the first day she walked out onto a court. And because people have clamored and have just rushed into the stadiums, they've sold out huge NBA stadiums because Caitlin Clark was going to play. And there's been some people who have basically called the rest of the women in the league who they really are. They consider it, because you're pointing it out who they really are, to be, quote, hate. Like I said, this is the kind of thing you can't even talk about here. I'm going to have a lot to say about this, though, on a video on Twitter. But in any event, whatever happened in those arenas, however people treated this woman and that woman because they were playing against, you know, Caitlin Clark, how in the heck is it Donald Trump's fault? How is it possible that it's Donald Trump's fault? Right there. She goes, how did we get here? How did we get here? Short answer, Donald Trump got us here. He gave permission for people to be outwardly blank, 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 and blank. Donald Trump's fault. People in the stands that are treating women, you know, the whole thing about equality, right? We all wanted equality. That's what this was all about, right? You ever been in a stadium and seen the Yankees or Red Sox fans talking about the other guys? No, you should. Ever go to watch the Philadelphia Eagles or Phillies or, God forbid, the Flyers play, and what they say to the other players on the, ice or court or field? No. I know what they have been saying about Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback here in Miami. I've been one of his biggest critics. Is that Donald Trump's fault? Or is it somebody passionate about a player and a fan? How did they take what happens on a field, a basketball court, and make it politically attached to Donald Trump because he gave them permission? I couldn't believe it. I don't want this kind of government. I don't want these people in my life. I don't want these people basically having any authoritative position. She shouldn't be. I'm glad she's out of coaching. You shouldn't be a coach. And that's who the Democrats are catering to. Absolute flaming nuts. There was a video this morning about Jamie Lee Curtis and what she said. The vile amount of stuff that came out of her mouth about you should F off and shut the F up if you're not a Kamala Harris supporter. Everything Bobby Kennedy just said is basically public knowledge. You can go look it up. They just don't want you talking about it. Why is everything in the cereal aisle, when you walk up there, sugar-coated this, sugar-coated that, Frosted Flakes? It's all. Why is it all crap? That's what he's talking about. And look at the man. The man's an inspiration. He's, 72, 73 years old and built like a brick poop house. Made me want to go back. Hey, man, I can look like that at 70? I need to go start pushing the iron more. Walking. Getting the sit-ups going. Getting svelte. There's something about saying, Ashley, sorry, don't tell Ashley I said this because she might get mad. There's something about looking in the eyes of grandkids and you go, wait a minute, they're young, I'm getting older, maybe I won't eat this donut because I want to be around for them. Sorry, I need to be here. And what he's telling people is, stop doing this, stop eating this, don't do this, don't do that, definitely don't take that jab, do this, do this, do this. Why is that a bad thing? Why does our government not want this man talking about the ills in our food, in our pharmaceuticals, things like that? What's wrong with that? People, wait a minute, aren't those the people who are pro-choice? You should be able to choose. Shouldn't you be able to choose whether or not you can eat good food or bad food? I don't know if you guys know this, but Tom Brady, who is, 79, 94, went to high school in Moses. I forget how old Tom Brady is. And the guy looks like he could just walk back onto a football field right now. And somebody asked him, so, hey, man, what's the TB12 diet? He's Tom Brady 12. What's the TB12 diet? Pretty simple. Fish, chicken, eggs, vegetables, salad. That's all I eat. Man, that sounds kind of boring. No, I got some recipes for you, but that's it. I ain't eating no bread. Nope, it's nasty. Not eating no candy. Nope, not eating it. And look at the guy. So it's hard to look at guys like Tom Brady and guys like Robert F. Kennedy and go, yeah, they're lying. How can they be lying when they look like that at their ages? And of course, RFK is a lot older. But look at the dude. And the people who are pointing at him like Jerry Nadler, like, hey, Jerry, dude. Hey, Chuck Schumer, Mitch, you see this dude? You seen him with his shirt off? I challenge Chuck Schumer to take his shirt off. I challenge Nadler to take his shirt off. I saw some of the comments from the ladies here in the chat talking about RFK Jr., not realizing, I don't know if they realize, but he's a 70-something-year-old man who's in fan-effing shape. So he must know a little bit about what you need to do to, basically elongate your life, have a better life, make sure that you're around for your grandkids and your existing kids and your husband or wife. There's a reason why the Democrats don't want people talking about that. There's a reason why they would rather you eat the crap and then keel over, because of something I can't even talk about here. It has to do something with too many people. Yeah, look that up. There's your homework for the day. Look up how many people they want on this planet. That'll freak you. That'll freak you out real quick. 70-year-old nightmares tonight, I guess. Somebody said 70. Tom Brady is 80. No, he's not 80. Dang, 70-year-old. Yeah, I don't even know how old RFK Jr. is. I bet you 73, 74. Let me look. How old RFK Jr.? RFK Jr. is 70 years old. So 70 years old, that man is. Tom Brady's, I think, 47, 48, but he still looks like he's 25. Tom Brady's one of those guys who came out of college looking like a schlub and looks better today at 47 or however old he is than he did when he was a 21, 22-year-old college kid. Says something. Randy says, I cleaned up my diet. No sugar, no dairy either, no minimal red meat. Then hit the gym hard, and cholesterol went from 250 to 145 in 6 months. I'm 60, and I feel like I did at 30. Salute. You give me something. Give me something to work for. See, I was a big-time football power lifter, did all that stuff, and now I'm like, you know what? My knees hurt, my back hurts, my quads hurt. And then I went up to see Ashley and the kids. We went to Disney. And I'm like, hey, man, I can't walk. My quads are like locking up on me. How can I not be walking? And then I came back and I called the doctor. Was like, no, you're fine. You're just atrophying. What do you mean I'm atrophying? Oh, hell no. No, I'm not going out like that. And so right away to the gym, I go to this place called the Stretch Zone. If you guys never been to a Stretch Zone, this is not a commercial, not an endorsement. Well, it's an endorsement, but they ain't paying me. But if you get to a Stretch Zone, if you're feeling a little ill, get to a Stretch Zone. Boy, they had me bending around like I was a black Gumby. I mean, my legs up by my ears and doing stuff. And it's all stretching. And I'm like, I haven't felt like this since I was doing, taekwondo a long time ago. Here's your legs. Oh, hey, I'm not supposed to bend like that. Yeah, okay, here we go. And we're going to put your leg over here. We're going to do fan-friggin-tastic. I go there now religiously once a week. So if you guys are in your 60s and you want to feel rejuvenated in a real hurry, we're still waiting for him to come on stage. Listen to this. So he's like, he goes, no, you're not that bad. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He goes, some people who come in here, they're surprised because they end up getting taller. And I'm like, how the hell you get taller by stretching? Because people slope as they get older. And they basically turn into, and it was funny, as he said, as a guy walked by, and the guy was kind of sloped over. And he goes, and that it becomes rigid. And he goes, we start stretching people, and they're like, hey, my stature's better. I feel taller. No, that's just what you're supposed to be. Just pull that stuff out. It's great. It's somebody's talking about Soros. Yeah. Yeah, I was Black Gumby. Oh, man, it was funny. RFK pinch hit for Trump today and hit a grand slam. Absolutely. Nope, I haven't done the Donald dance yet. I'm going to tell you right now why. Robin, as you know, had been feeling under the weather. I didn't want to bother her with that until she felt better. She's feeling better. It's coming. It's coming. I promised it was coming. It will come. I try to eat healthier. Yeah, it's hard. RFK Jr. is in very good shape. He is. Wow, I am an 80-year-old super senior professional bowler. Stay off the couch. Interesting. Professional bowling at 80 years old. It's funny. I live on a golf course, and we get out there in the morning, and we're driving or we're walking a dog or something, and I'm seeing these ladies and men who are definitely in their 80s, and it's 100 degrees in the heat. during the summer, and they're out there swinging them clubs, man. They're getting it done. There's also disc shrinking. Yep, Barry, stay away from those blueberry muffins and sugar glaze. Yep, had to give them up. Those were my two weaknesses. Had to have a blueberry muffin every morning. I would eat two blueberry muffins and a banana. And I'm like, nope, can't do that anymore. So just can't. And then Krispy Kreme, obviously. Nope. 24 years old and says I ditched junk food. Very well. Very, very well. RFK Jr., I agree with this 100%. RFK Jr. needs to do more with Trump at every rally. Yeah, so being the fact that he's here in Walker for this speech tonight at the town hall, I doubt he'll be there because it's more of a town hall, but I agree with you that he should go to more rallies, absolutely. So it's 2:53. Trump was supposed to speak at 2, so he's an hour late. One of the things that maybe caught, and as you've been following, I don't know if you guys have seen this, so just breathe easy. News came out yesterday or the day before that now they're targeting Trump with surface-to-air missiles. There have been a team of people who have got a number of different, I think they said 9 missiles have been basically snuck into the country. Right. And they're basically looking for Trump's plane to shoot it out of the sky. So the word came out today that his team are using decoys. They may fly the big jet out, and then they may fly a couple small Lear jets here or there, just so they can have decoys so nobody knows which plane he's on, so that they can't take a shot knowing which plane he's on. Even though someone probably knows which plane he's on because the Secret Service has to know. Craziness. So now we've got this guy dodging missiles. In addition to worrying about people taking a shot at him, now he's got to dodge missiles hitting his airplane and blowing it out of the sky. You're telling me in the United States of America we cannot protect somebody from shooting a friggin' missile at Trump? I ain't buying it. No, I'm not buying it. So anyway, what I was going to say is maybe that's why he's always, not always, but late a lot, is because nobody knows how he's traveling. He's having to change things up, change up the route, change how they're doing it, maybe even change up the personnel. But as of right now, it's 2:55, and I'm looking at the stage, and he has not yet come out. So please don't start with the comments, well, he's on stage talking right now. No, he's not on stage talking. They have Patriot missiles that seek and destroy others. Yeah, they do that. Oh, Miss Chris, I just happened to see you pop up. So if I could find you, your thing, I'm gonna add you, but I can't find you, Miss Chris. Wow, I just saw you and then you disappeared. The comments are moving way too fast. Actually, I saw her say something, but I couldn't get to it in time. Well, that would prove someone's crooked in the Secret Service. Yeah, I think we know that. Let's see what we got here. Walk 3 miles 4 times a week. Run 3 times a week. Very well. Good job. Did Governor Shapiro sign one of those missiles? No, Shapiro signed one of the shells that they gave to Zelensky. How crude is that? I think about that. You're a governor of a state in the United States, and you're signing missiles that these guys are going to fire towards Putin. Unbelievable. Unfriggin' believable. Let's see here. They caught smuggling. Yeah, they got caught smuggling the missile launchers? I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that they got caught. Let's see. They're cheering. Let's see if he's coming out next. They're zooming in. They're cheering a lot. People got their cell phones up, so it looks like Mr. Trump, President Trump, should be walking out at any second here. Yes, Rob, we were all safe from the hurricane. It hit the other side of the state, on the west side. I've never seen this happen. Oh, there he goes. And anytime, very scary. He's walking out. I'm going to have to kill the music and I'll turn it over to you because as we know... All right, so they're singing the song. I can't play the song. Trump should put Biden in his plane and ride around in that. That would be funny. Oh, yeah, somebody put down Mark Cuban as a nut. Mark Cuban is an absolute nut. You're right about that. All right, so we're almost ready for him to come out and make this talk. Yes, President Trump is coming on stage. Yes, he is. Hi, TJ. Thank you very much for subscribing. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. As soon as the music stops, we will go ahead and hit the volume. If you guys haven't been here before, and the guys who have been here before, ladies and gentlemen, let me know once I turn the volume on if the sound is good. If the sound is good, then we would be ready, set, and go. Looking at him. Let me just make sure everything's set. Where's it? Where's this at? Okay. We're almost ready. Let me get the second feed ready in case we have problems with the first feed. We are good to go. Let me test it, make sure, let's see how this works. Right, music is still playing. Thank
you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Let me know if the volume is good.
Special hello to Michigan. We're going to bring back your car industry. And it's great to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. Before we begin, I want to just repeat something that just came out over the wires. It's big stuff by the patriots of immigration and customs enforcement. You know what that is? That's ICE. These are tough guys. They're almost as tough as you. You guys, look at this guy. You guys. Not quite. No, these are tough people. They love our country, but you need them. But for the first time ever, we have specific numbers that were just released. And it's about the people that crossed the border illegally under Kamala Harris. That she's even running is frankly ridiculous, okay? That's not a president. That's not a president. She went to the border today because she wanted to see if she could. She's getting killed on the border. And she went to the border. This was a bad day because somebody just released the numbers that came out through ICE. According to this brand new data, never seen before, over 13,099 convicted murderers have crossed the border and are free to roam and kill in our country. These are convicted murderers. These are people that were in jail. Now, I've been talking about this for 3 years. When I heard they were opening up the border, 3.5 years, I said, if they open the border, because I know the people on the other side, and they're smart, savvy people, you know, they're at the top of their game. Our leaders are not at the top of their game at all. They never were, actually. But our leaders are not. These are smart people. And these are countries from all over the world, 13,000, more than 13,000. Convicted murderers have been let out of jail, and they're roaming our streets, their country all over. And every state is a border state. You know what that means, right? Every state, because they fly them in. Can you imagine? They fly them in. These people are, I'm starting to think they're stupid. They're just stupid. So that's one, as well, and other numbers came out along with it. Over 13,000 convicted murderers from jails, in jail. And I told you, they're releasing them from jails, and these fake people, these stupid people, will say they don't release them from jail. They do, Mike. They do. You know that. You better elect him your senator, I'll tell you. As well as and these are specific numbers. That's why when they rounded them out, I said, I don't want them rounded out. I want the exact number. As well as 25,272 illegals convicted of rape, sex offense, or sexual assault and in jail. These are people all in jail because they don't want them in jail. They're too expensive and they don't want them in their countries. They're smarter than us. They give them to us. We're like a dumping ground. In total, 425,431 non-detained, meaning they're no longer in detention, meaning prison, non-citizens, convicted criminals from all over the world are right now at large in the United States of America, with another 222,141 illegals with pending criminal charges, and these are serious criminal charges for murder, for drugs being sold all over the world where many people have been killed, because those are the ones they put in jail. We don't do that over here. We give them a fine. You know, every drug dealer kills at least 500 people. Each drug dealer, him or her, kills 500 people. We do nothing about it. We fine them. That's over 647,572 migrant criminals are in our country. It's a killing machine. It's a killing machine, and they're killing people all over our country. And Kamala said, remember, she said, oh, well, those people really don't kill like our criminals. No, these people make our criminals look like nice people. And I've been saying this from the beginning of the Harris-Biden disaster. It's no longer an administration, because what they've done to our country with this is inexcusable. I guess some egghead maybe said, oh, it's wonderful to release people, and it sounds so nice. We're releasing migrants into our country. But these are killers. These are people at the highest level of killing. They'd cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next morning. They won't even think about it. And these people are all over the place, and they're killing people. I could go through the stories, and I won't. But all over, sometimes I do. They come up, they grab young girls, and they slice them up right in front of their parents. Nobody who's allowed to do this, and nobody who's allowed this to happen to our country is fit to be the president of the United States. I mean that, too. I mean it. Anybody that's stupid. I've been saying this now for almost 4 years, because we built hundreds of miles of border wall. We had the best record at the border of any president of anybody, at least in recorded history. Tom Homan would get up, Brandon Judd gets up. They all get up and they say there's never been a president like Trump. But Tom Homan said it today. He said in his lifetime, we had the best border that we've ever had under Trump, and now we have the worst border that any country has ever had. But it's bad timing for Kamala. Nobody knows her as Harris. You ever use the name Harris? Say Harris. Nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about when I say Harris. It's true. You say Harris, they don't know who the hell I'm talking about. So I won't bother with the Harris. It's a nice name. I know a couple of people named Harris. But with her, you say Harris, they say, who is that? So we say Kamala. But it's bad time. She's incompetent. Have you seen her? She goes into an interview with Oprah, and she can't answer any questions. She can't answer any questions. This is bad timing for Kamala to show up today at the border. She didn't go there for 4 years. Now today she shows up, and these numbers got released. Somebody doesn't like her, I think. And the fake news. So I don't know, maybe she's already gone, I doubt it, but she's went to the border today. She wants to see if she could salvage, make up some lies, like she said about the border bill that Trump stopped. Let me tell you, number one, I didn't stop it. The senator stopped it. But that's the worst bill ever drawn It's a waste of paper, and she doesn't need a bill. All she has to do is fly back to Washington and get this president that we have, if he's still president. I don't even know who the hell is president. Is he president? This is not exactly President Xi. He runs his country a little differently, although they do go after their political opponents pretty violently. I will say that. But they don't go after the murderers, the drug dealers. Get this guy to sign a little dot. You sign right over the little dots, and you sign your name, Joe Biden, and you say on it to Border Patrol, close the border, and they close the border. That's what I did. Our border is open. Our border is open. Nobody can believe it. And I've been saying that the people coming in, you know, I know these leaders so street smart, and I would have been worse than them, because actually Venezuela still has some people in their jails. I would have had everybody out into the United States. They probably ran out of buses and planes. But the rest of them are coming, don't worry about it. But all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world, they're coming from the Congo and Africa. A lot of people coming from the Congo and Africa. And these are serious criminals coming out of jails, mostly from jails. A lot of gang members, they take their gangs off the street. Like in Caracas, Venezuela, the criminals have all been brought to the United States. Their crime rate is down in Caracas. In fact, I suggest, if I lose, I'll tell you what's possible, because they cheat. That's the only way we're going to lose, because they cheat. They cheat like hell. If we lose, the next time we're going to have the same group of people in Caracas, Venezuela, because it's much safer than any place in our country if she wins. Much safer. So let's go to Caracas. It was a very unsafe place. Now because in Venezuela, their crime is down 72%, because they've taken their criminals, their gang members, their drug dealers, and they've brought them into the United States of America, and they're also releasing almost all of their prisoners. Soon the almost will be gone. Their prisons will be empty. Their mental institutions and insane asylums will be empty. They're dumping them in our country, and I never had proof. And those fake news reporters back there, they say, Trump, what would he know about that? What would he know? You know why? It's common sense. We're the party of common sense, by the way, just so you know. Common sense. So these numbers just came out. Nobody's ever seen these numbers for years. Nobody's ever seen them. And probably some patriot in ICE or somebody just did something. They just said the country's going bad. You can't have a country like that. We have, think of it, murderers, convicted murderers in prison for life. Many get the electric chair, or they get whatever their form of death penalty. These are convicted people for life, are now in our country, and I can finally look at them and see, I say, I told you so to the fake news. These are hard, tough, vicious criminals that are free to roam in our country. And now, for the first time, I can say it, and, you know, I mean, I knew it before, when you have open borders, but they're dumping everybody in here. I knew it before, but these numbers are actually worse than I ever thought. They should have been released far earlier so that we could have done something about it. I wish we had them 3 years ago, but we didn't. And now we have a problem, and you can't have her as your president. She doesn't know what the hell she's doing. She should resign in disgrace for what she's done to our country, not run for president. She was the border czar. She was the border czar. She was in charge. I don't even care about him. What the hell? No, he put her in charge, though. She was the border czar. Now she claims she wasn't the border czar, but she was in charge of the border. Call her what you want. 4 years ago, Kamala Harris inherited the most secure border in U.S. history. And as border czar, she then set the all-time record for illegal immigration into our country every single year. And many of these people were stone cold criminals and murderers. She willfully and deliberately erased her own nation's borders, a crime so wicked as to defy description. As former ICE director and a great man, Tom Homan, anybody know Tom Homan? Tom Homan, I say, is central casting for doing what he does better than anybody. Brandon Judd, Kuwait, we have great people. These Border Patrol guys, I got to know them all. They're great. They want to do their job. They could sit back and let it happen. They go crazy. They see what's happening to our country, and they're not allowed to do the job. But as Tom Homan just said, just put it out, I've worked with 6 presidents. I know all about police work, and I know all about policies work. I know what policies don't work. President Trump was a game changer, and we saved thousands of lives by securing the southern border. Biden and Harris took the most secure border in my lifetime. This is from Tom Homan, and unsecured it on purpose. So he unsecured the border. They did. I don't know why. They want the votes, they're dumb, or they want to destroy the country. That could be the only 3 things. They're dumb, they want to just have people destroy our country, or they want the votes. You know, they're trying to sign these people up to vote. That's the all-time insult. They are working full-time to sign these people, many of them murderers, to vote so they can cheat on the election, because that's what they do. And they vote against bills. Any bill that wants to secure the vote, the Democrats in Congress fight like hell so they can't get passed. Who would want a bill that says bad things happen with the vote? You want to secure your vote, whether you're a Democrat. Interesting, a lot of Democrats, not the politicians, want to have that. And they don't want to have sanctuary cities, by the way. They don't want it. Only the politicians want it for certain reasons. President Trump, Tom Homan said, was the greatest president in my lifetime. Thank you, Tom. This country was never better off than when he was president. He was unprecedented in his success on the border, and it saved many lives. He was an out-of-the-box thinker, and he got the job done like nobody else could do the job. So that's from Tom Homan. Thank you. I might as well read it. I might as well tell you, because they'll never tell you that. They'll never tell you that, right? They'll never tell you that, Mike. By contrast, Kamala Harris betrayed her oath. She let our cities fail to violent gangs. She let our American sons and daughters be raped and murdered at the hands of vicious monsters. She let American communities be conquered. They're conquering your communities. You go out to Aurora in Colorado, where they're taking over with AK-47s. Real estate. They're in the real estate development business, just like me, except I'd never got to use guns to do it. They're taking over real estate. And Kamala turned cherished small towns into blighted refugee camps. And you take a look at what's happening in Springfield, Ohio, and the mayor is a nice man. In fact, I think he's an independent or a Republican. And he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't know what to say. He wants to be nice. 32,000 people, you have 50,000 residents, beautiful place, beautiful, nice town, no crime, no nothing. They now have 32,000 people dumped into the town, and he's trying to say, we're working very hard to make it comfortable for them. No, those people have to be taken out and brought back to the country from where they came. I'm sorry. The mayor said, we're looking for interpreters. It's so hard to find interpreters because nobody speaks English, right? So we're looking for interpreters. No, you're looking for people that will remove them and bring them back safely to their country. It's not fair. It's not sustainable by any country. What's happening to us in the United States, Millions and millions of people, 21 million plus, have been dumped into the United States, and many of them are murderers. Many of them are horrible criminals. What Kamala Harris has done is unforgivable. It's a crime, what she did. It's got to be criminal. There's no greater act of disloyalty than to extinguish the sovereignty of your own nation, and that's what she's done. She's ruined our nation. She's ruined our nation. And you know, I've always talked about this, and I've talked about it strongly, but I'm just realizing as I'm talking right now, and not even going off a teleprompter, because the teleprompter is not tough enough, I'm saying, and by the way, isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't need a teleprompter? But I've never had, thank you. Boy, what a group of people we have. It's a joke. We're laughed at all over the world for our leadership. But I just got this information, so I've never really spoken about this because this is the first time where we have these numbers with 13,000 convicted, jailed murderers, tougher than any of our criminals. We have only one good thing about this, is they make our criminals look like very nice people. These are hardened, horrible criminals, and we have to get them the hell out of our country because they're ruining the fabric of our country. Kamala is directly responsible for the tens of thousands of crimes committed by illegal migrants that she set free into our country. They didn't ask for a name. They didn't ask for a registration number. And many of them don't even have names or registration numbers. They just pour into our country. She has no idea where they're from parts unknown. She's responsible for every bloody crime scene, every funeral, every orphan child. And the great Mark Levin called me a little while ago and said, ask them, because he couldn't believe the numbers either. He said, ask them to ask Kamala, has she ever attended one funeral of the thousands and thousands of people that they've already killed? So I ask you that question. I give that to the fake news so that they can ask that question, because she's right now at the border giving a press conference. She doesn't give a press conference. She doesn't take questions. She'll make a little statement and then run away. She delivered these horrors. She unleashed these atrocities, and blood is on her hands at a level that probably nobody's ever seen in this country before. But on November 5th, Kamala Harris will be held accountable for these crimes. She will be sent back to California. And we will close the border. We will stop the invasion. We will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. And we have no choice but to vote. Have no choice. We have no choice. Our country is in trouble. Like, it's a mess. It's a mess, including the inflation that was caused by them by energy and by their spending. But the inflation caused by them by energy. Remember when energy went way down, the production after by the way, I got more votes than any sitting president in history. I was told if I got the same number of votes as the first time, 63 million, you can't lose, sir. We got many millions of votes more than that. Nobody's ever gotten more votes, sitting president, and they beat us by a whisker. It's the only thing they're good at. They're good at cheating in elections. They're good at nothing else, believe me. They're certainly not good at policy. By the way, she changed every policy. She had 15 policies that she changed. She was against fracking. She was against everything. And she changed everything because you couldn't get elected, right? And she was the last one. She was the last one online. You know, whether you like Biden or not, he got 14 million votes and he won the primaries, and then they came to him, Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy. She came to him, she's nuts. By the way, did you see yesterday, 2 days ago, So I'm not much into this stuff, but Visa crashed because the government went after. The government filed a big suit against Visa. Nancy and her husband sold their stock the day before it was announced. Nancy Pelosi. So why don't we get some AG somewhere like in a Republican territory? And why don't we get them to do a little investigation? Sold the Visa stock. Are you listening? They're probably turning off the cameras now. They don't want to report. The day before, the government announced a major investigation, the biggest there is, can't get worse, into Visa. They sold it the day before. It's amazing, isn't it, huh? I'm proud to say I think I'm the only politician that's lost. I've lost billions on it. I don't give a damn. I knew I'd lose a lot. I didn't know I was going to lose that much. I wanted to lose. I could have made a fortune. I could have been like Hunter, sell paintings for $500,000. I would have gotten much more. Say, you got to give me $5 million for that painting. I haven't painted before, but I have a lot of natural talent. I'm proud to say that, I mean, I'm not the only one, but I guess I figured I'd lose a lot, but I didn't know I was going to lose that much, but it doesn't matter to me because this is much bigger. This is a much bigger calling. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn. I don't care. Before going further, I want to send our love and support to all of the people in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Alabama, and all of the other states who have been really hit hard by that very large hurricane. That was that big one, a very large hurricane this week. We're with you all the way, and if we were there, we'd be helping you, and you'll be okay. 39 days from now, we're going to win Michigan. We're going to defeat Comrade Kamala Harris, who's a Marxist communist. And quite simply, we are going to make America great again. To make America great. So I didn't want to go off on a tangent, but I did want to bring up a little thing called crime. But we're really here today to talk about bringing jobs and manufacturing back to the great state of Michigan and really to our country, our whole country. And I want to thank, just met him, a great gentleman. He came here, he said, because of me in 2017 from the Netherlands, great guy, great successful businessman. Bodewine Hauser, thank you very much. He's a big guy too, and his beautiful wife. Stand up, please, please stand up. Good looking couple. Good looking. Good man, right? Yes? They're all saying, they better say yes. They won't be here tomorrow if they don't. No, he's great. He's done a great job. He actually said he came here because of me. He came to the country because of me, opened this, and it was very successful. And I imagine still is, but he said it's a big difference now between the first days during the Trump administration for 4 years, 3 years that you were open during the Trump administration. Now he says the interest rates are way up and inflation has been very devastating, which it is for everybody, but we'll make it even more successful than the first 3 or 4 years you had, okay? Or more successful. And for generations, this state was the beating heart of American industry, and you gave the world General Motors, Ford, Chrysler, Dow Chemical, General Dynamics, and other giants of American industry and might, and then you see what's happened to so many of them because of stupid politicians largely, and stupid people that ran the companies into the ground. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. It doesn't take much. It only takes one bad executive at the top. But then foolish and corrupt politicians forced Michigan workers to watch as the jobs in the factories were leached from Grand Rapids and Detroit and Lansing and Flint and sent to foreign lands way far away, not only China in particular, but all over. But with your vote, we're going to reclaim America's manufacturing power, and basically we're going to do what they do. We have to get the senators to agree. I think we have no problem with that, right? We're going to get the senators to allow us to do it. We're actually allowed to do it as president. We want to make it permanent. We're going to bring jobs, wealth, and pride back to Grand Rapids, back to Detroit, back to Milwaukee, and all throughout the Midwest. We're going to bring it back. And to our incredible auto workers here in Michigan, I'm pinpointing you for greatness. I'm pinpointing you because the industry has been decimated. And right now, as we speak, they're building big plants. They wouldn't do it when I was president. They're building big, giant auto plants in Mexico, owned and financed by China, and they think they're going to come out and they're going to build cars and they're going to sell them into our country and they're going to destroy Michigan and all these other places. Not going to happen because we'll put 100 to 200% tariff on every car coming across the Mexican border. And we'll tell them and we're going to be strong. The only way they'll get rid of that tariff is if you build the plant in the United States, not if you build it in Mexico, which is what China and others do. If Elon wants to sell a car, by the way, Elon Musk gave his total endorsement. He gave me the greatest, most beautiful. He said, we're not going to have a country left if Trump doesn't get in. And you know what I'm going to let Elon do? Unless you people disagree, I'm going to get Elon, and he's great at this. He's going to be our cost cutter. I think he can save trillions, right? He wants to do it so badly. I don't think I can get him full time because he's a little bit busy sending rockets up and all the things he does. But he's so much into that. He said the waste in this country is crazy, and we're going to get Elon Musk to be our cost cutter. He's going to do it for zero. He doesn't want anything. But he wants to see this country be great, and he'll do it. And having his endorsement is a great endorsement. We have some really great endorsements, I will tell you that. But we'll get him involved, and mostly on that side of it. And it's going to be incredible what he'll be able to do without hurting anybody. Just waste. It's waste, fraud, and abuse. Do you ever hear the expression waste, fraud, and abuse? You get rid of that, everybody lives much better. We have a country that's really strong again. If I'm not elected, you will have no auto industry. Your industry is being taken from you like candy from a baby. I see it happening with the all-electric, and I'll tell you, electric cars are wonderful, but not for everybody. I will end the mandate on day one for all electric cars. And there's a great place, and they have a place. Like Tesla and others, they're fantastic, but they have a place, but not for everybody. They don't go far, they cost more, and they're made in China mostly because that's where they have the materials. We have something that's even better. We have a thing called liquid gold under our feet, and we're going to use our liquid gold in the form of gasoline for our cars. Oil and gas, we have liquid gold. We have more liquid gold than any country anywhere in the world. We have more liquid gold, not even close. We have more than Russia. We have more than Saudi Arabia. We have more than anybody. You know, I approved something, Anwar. I got it done. Ronald Reagan couldn't get it done. I love Ronald Reagan, but he couldn't get it done. He tried so hard. It's in Alaska. It's one of the biggest finds maybe ever, maybe as big as Saudi Arabia. Nobody really knows, but it's in that category. One of the biggest in the world. I got it done. I worked my ass off and I got it done. And Biden came in. He didn't know what the hell he was signing anyway. And he terminated it. Can you believe this? This would have taken care of all of Asia, would have brought money in. We could have paid down our debt. We could have been unbelievable. We would have reduced. I gave you the biggest tax cuts in history. I would have given you a bigger tax cut. And we still will. Biden rejected it. They ended it in his first day in office, but we'll get it done quickly. It was already passed by Congress. They didn't do that. They just ended it. and the people of Alaska aren't happy, but that's a national thing. And when you get into those numbers, that's national. Would have been so great for our country, but we'll get it done very quickly. Under my plan, American workers will no longer be worried about losing your jobs to foreign nations. Foreign nations will be worried about losing their jobs to America, because we're going to take a lot of those companies back, a lot of new companies coming in. I want German car companies to be American car companies. I want them to build their cars in this country, not in Germany. I want Asian electronics companies to become Michigan electronics companies. And I want every manufacturer that has left us to be filled with regret, and you're going to become racing back after we do what we're doing. And here is the deal, that I'll be offering every major company and manufacturer all over the earth, and they're going to all come in because we're the pot of gold. But we're not going to be the pot of gold forever if we don't be careful. We're not going to be, it's going to end, and we're not going to let it end. We will give you the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, because we have the energy, the lowest regulatory burden. I cut regulations more than any other president in the history of our country. And we'll give you free access to the biggest and best market on the planet. That's us. But only if you make your product here in America and hire American workers. If you don't make your product here, then you will have to pay a tax or tariff when you send your product into the United States. And we will take in hundreds of billions of dollars into our treasury and use that money to benefit the American citizens. So with China as an example, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs. No other president took in 10 cents. In fact, they left it on because they can't get it off, because it's taken in so much money that the Biden people, I'm sure he doesn't know about it too much, but the Biden people said, we can't get rid of these tariffs, they're making too much money. But what they're also doing, maybe more importantly, their cars aren't coming in, and they're not destroying Detroit and South Carolina and North Carolina and Georgia and all the other places that are involved with making autos and parts. They're not coming in, and we made a fortune on it, and now all we're doing is take interest in it. We were ready to do that. And then we had a little strange election result. We're not going to let that happen again. In my first term, I ended NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made, and replaced it with the USMCA, the best trade deal ever made. I withdrew from the job-killing Trans-Pacific Partnership. By the way, if that deal would have been approved, it was negotiated by Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him, Barack Hussein? Remember Rush Limbaugh? Rush, we love Rush. He used to go, Barack Hussein Obama. Mr. Wall, would you please stand up? Look at this guy. I got to get a suit like that. He's a successful guy. He's been to 293 rallies. This isn't a rally. This is a workers' meeting talking about bringing our jobs back into the country, which will go so fast. But he's been great. Have I done a good job? Yes? You better say yes. That's it. Thank you very much. Great guy. I renegotiated Barack Obama's Korea trade deal, which was a disaster, to restore the protective tariff on foreign pickup trucks. You know, the pickup trucks is where the car companies make most of their money, because we put on a tariff and we kept the tariff, and therefore they can't compete with us in our country. And we actually make pickup trucks in this country. If that would have gone, called the chicken wire tax, if that would have gone out, you would not have any trucks being made in this country. I stood up to China like never before, placing a 27.5% tariff on all Chinese automobiles, saving the U.S. auto industry from total obliteration. The cars don't come in because they can't compete. And for furniture makers in North Carolina and other places, and in particular right now, a place called Grand Rapids. You know, I have great memories of Grand Rapids because I came to Grand Rapids, I made a speech, I went home, and we ended up winning the election in 2016, right? But I put a 22% tariff on Chinese furniture. They were destroying North Carolina. They were destroying your furniture areas where you have a lot. Just absolutely destroying. And you make better furniture, by the way. I bought a lot of furniture. I'd go here, I'd go down to with hotels. As I built hotels, I'd buy furniture. I'd go do it myself. People don't believe it. Well, you really buying furniture? Yeah, I'm buying furniture, a lot of it. But I'd go, and it was like North Carolina was the furniture capital of the world. And then it was decimated by China because politicians allowed that to happen. It should have never been allowed to happen. We're going to bring all those companies back, and then we're putting a tariff on China. We're selling their furniture here so that these people can make their furniture. They're better than anyone else. I bought some of that Chinese furniture, and people would sit down in a chair, and the chair would break, and they'd end up on their ass, and then they'd sue me. I never had that with North Carolina. I never had it with Grand Rapids. No, it's true. This was not good. Ladies and gentlemen, the finest hotel in the world. They open, they end up getting a little damaged. They sit down to dinner at the beautiful dining table and they end up getting damaged. Sir, you have a problem. The chairs break. That's a big problem. The centerpiece of my plan for a manufacturing renaissance will be a 15% made in America tax rate. So, pretty simple. So listen to how simple it is and how good it will be. It'll totally turn our country around and will be a profit-making machine instead of a disaster like we are right now with $36 trillion in debt. So I brought the business tax rate from 39% or higher down to 21%. So I had it was 39, but it was actually 50 and over 50 if you include state and city taxes in some places, like hopefully New York is going to be able to reduce their taxes, but it was very high. So I brought it down from 39% down to 21%, all the way down to 21%. People said there's no way, and I got it approved by Congress. Can you believe that? Now they're trying, the Democrats want to raise it, and they don't know. It's hard to say, would you please vote for me to raise the tax? They're going to raise it up to 39 or 40% or maybe even 50%. You better not let these people get in office. They're going to destroy what we built. And we did more business and created more jobs than ever before in history. With a 21% rate as opposed to a 39% rate, we took in more money, much more money, at the lower rate that we did because we had jobs like never before. We had business like never before. Maybe you came here because of that. That might be the reason, come to think of it. Thank you. You told me that. 2017, yeah, you probably came because of the tax and the one-year depreciation, and you buy something and you can depreciate. Oh, you are a smart one. You're a smart one. Come to think of it, I would imagine that's why. And we're doing that again, the one-year depreciate. You buy equipment and you're allowed to write it off first year. But what it does is create tremendous jobs. But now I'm doing a step further. I'm going to bring down the 21% to 15%, but only, and we will be the most competitive in the world. Don't forget, the world, like a gentleman like this can take his company and go to the Netherlands and go to a lot of other places. They all want your business. So if you start charging them too much, you're going to leave. They're going to say, that's a nice plant, bye-bye, because they're great business people. And they're going to go where they can get the deal. 15% will be almost as low as there is in the world. And yet, you got to remember, only if you manufacture your product right here in the USA do you get the 15% rate. So how cool is that? Michigan will be hotter than it ever was in its heyday. It'll be hotter than it ever was. You have to manufacture the product. Otherwise, you stay at 21%, which is okay too. But if you manufacture your product here, you drop all the way down to 15%, making it just about as compelling as there is in the world. Some are a little bit lower, but it's not this country, but it'll be among the most competitive in the world. Then I'm imposing tariffs on your competition from foreign countries, which would come in and take your businesses as soon as you built them. And we're gonna put tariffs on, so now you won't be able to worry about having somebody come in and steal your plant and steal your business and close your place and lose your workers, and the workers are out of jobs. All your car factories are going to be coming back. You'll have more jobs than you've ever had in this state. Your car industry will be as big relatively as it was 60 years ago when you were like dominant. It's not dominant anymore. This is why people in countries are all after Trump. This is why. You know, the only one that has shots fired at them, that throbbing feeling, right? The only one are consequential presidents. When I do these things, I've got a lot of enemies out there. I've got a lot of enemies. You know, Germany liked, as an example, Barack Hussein Obama better than me, even though the people actually like me much better. Because you know what? He didn't charge him anything. He let him rip off our country. All presidents let our country be ripped off, and that's why we're in the mess that we're in. But but that's why I have, to put it mildly, in particular, Iran. You know, don't forget, with Iran, they were the sponsor of terror like nobody else was the sponsor of terror, and they were broke under the Trump administration. Because I put all sorts of sanctions on. I put all sorts of countries couldn't buy their oil or they couldn't do business in the United States. And all I wanted was one thing, because I wasn't looking to hurt them. I know many Iranian people, they're great people, very smart people, but I didn't want them to have a nuclear weapon. They can't have a nuclear weapon. Very simple ask. You can do whatever you want. You're gonna be strong, you're gonna get big and beautiful. Can't have a nuclear weapon and destroy the world. Can't have it. You can't have a nuclear weapon. The power of nuclear is so monumental. You just can't let that happen. And it wasn't going to happen. And there was no Hezbollah that was getting money. They had no money. Hamas had no money. The terror groups, 28 different terror groups, had no money. Nobody had any money. And during the 4 years of the Trump administration, we had no terror. We had no wars against other countries, expensive, never-ending, stupid wars like we had under other presidents. I won't say which one, including Republicans, including Republican presidents, right? Goes in, blows out the Middle East, blows up the Middle East, comes back, you get nothing except death. You get death all over the place, death and hatred. Actually, they should like me more than anybody ever, but you had no wars under Trump except I defeated ISIS, which had already begun. I defeated ISIS, took 100% of the ISIS caliphate, 100%. I was told it was going to take 5 years. I did it in 4 weeks. We have the greatest military in the world, but you have to understand, you can't be so politically correct. But we did it in 4 weeks. ISIS was gone, 100% of the ISIS caliphate, and some of you have had the story, but I don't have enough time to tell you the story because I have to be someplace else making the same damn speech in a little while. I'll tell you the story the next time. I promise. I'll tell you the story, Mike, the next time. Will you come up here, Mr. Senator? Come up here real fast. Come on. I got to get you up. This is a man who's going to be one of the best senators, toughest senator, and great for you. And I hear your poll numbers are looking good. Will you say a quick hello so I don't have to go through this process in 15 minutes?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Well, thank you, Mr. President, for being here. How about that? And I can tell you, I'm looking at his teleprompter. He's not even close to watching that teleprompter. But I want to tell you this, Mr. President. One thing we know here in Michigan, with your plans, to make sure that border is secure, with your plans to make sure the tax rate allows us to be competitive, with your plan to make energy independent here in America and bring down our gas prices and our cost of groceries. These folks right here were ahead of you. There is more common sense on that dais than there is in every committee room back in Washington, D.C. And I'll give you a little, we had some hot off the press information yesterday, Mr. President. 5,000 auto dealers. Your opponent, Kamala Harris, has been saying really wasn't an EV mandate. 5,000 auto dealers who are feeling the heat from this EV mandate said, nope, you're killing our business, you're killing the automobile industry, you must end the EV mandate. With you in Washington, we're gonna get that done. Thanks for being here, Mr. President.
He's doing great. You got to vote for him. He's doing great. And Tudor, thank you very much. Great job. You did a great job this morning on television. I appreciate it very much. Nice things. Tudor Dixon, everybody. Thank you very much. But if Kamala Harris gets in, every single manufacturing job in the state is going to Mexico or going to China. And Mexico is a very big threat, by the way. First of all, the tax queen, that's Kamala, is demanding a 33% tax hike on all domestic production, way up. It's going to be much higher than that, by the way. Next, she wants the largest capital gains tax in the history of our country. And then she's promising a brand new wealth confiscation tax called unrealized capital gain. That means that if your company's doing great and your company's gotten really valuable, but you might be a little tight on cash and you have no intention of selling your company, you do an appraisal of what your company is worth and you have to pay a tax on it. So now you go to a bank and you borrow the money and your company goes out of business and that's the end of your company. Can you imagine that? Unrealized. In other words, you don't sell, your company got more valuable and you're putting more and more money into your company, and that's okay. There are a lot of people who have great wealth and they don't have cash. Those people are wiped out and it'll cause a depression like in 1929. Other than that, I think it's quite a good idea. Crazy, this person, crazy. You know, her father is a Marxist professor of economics. That's what she is. She's a Marxist. And we are not ready for a Marxist, and we will never be ready for a Marxist or a communist president, which is what she is. And you know, we're leading in the polls. We're doing great, but you know, when you see we're leading by 2 points, 3 points, we should be leading by 50 points. We should be, how the hell? No, really, you would really say, why would anybody vote for her? She's destroying our country. What she did, outside of the nuclear disaster that these people will get us into, World War III, what she did on the border with these millions of murderers and criminals coming into our country, what she did on the border is the worst thing I think I've ever heard. I've never heard of anything like it. Never made sense. You're trying to figure out, you know, in business, you always like to figure out your opponent. What does he want? What are they doing? What does she want? What are they doing? And you want to figure it out. Here, you can't figure it out. Like, why do they want open borders? Why do they want men playing in women's sports? Why does Kamala want to give transgender operations to convicted illegal migrants coming in and staying in detention cells? She said, we will give them sex change operations. Now, somebody would look at me and say, that's crazy. I'm sure that that's not true. No, it's 100% true. She wants to give them, they're in a detention cell, and a man wants to transition into womanhood. And she is willing to do that and give very expensive operations, by the way, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But if you want that, she will give you a transgender operation. Are we crazy? Are we crazy? Now, how about, and also, all of these people, she wants to defund the police. You know, she is one of the originals for defund the police. I say anybody that wants to defund the police, is not qualified and shouldn't be allowed to even run for president of the United States. It's crazy. Comrade Kamala Harris also voted for a bill to impose a 100% ban on gas-powered cars and trucks, killing an estimated 200,000 U.S. auto jobs, including 40,000 auto jobs in Michigan, a death sentence for the Michigan economy. On day one, I will terminate Kamala's electric vehicle mandate, have to terminate it. And remember, the electric car has a great place, but not for everybody, okay? Not for everybody. No state in America will be permitted to ban gasoline engines. You want gasoline, nice clean gasoline. We have the best, we have the most. You know, we want to use something that China has that we don't. It's crazy, right? They have certain minerals, they have control of what you need for the batteries, and we really don't, but we will have. A lot of what we have is stopped because of the environment. We have the minerals, but we don't have the environmental impact statements, but we'll make sure that that's going to go very quickly. We'll be able to do things that you never even thought. The only good thing about what happened with this 4-year disaster is that the people will understand when we fix our country, they'll be much more understanding than they would have been if we just went straight ahead and did it. Because this country has never been laughed at like a bunch of dopes. It's never been laughed at like it is right now. If Kamala wins, she will take your cars, take your money, take your guns. She wants to confiscate all guns, you know that. She just changed. That's one of the 15 policies that she changed. You know, she was totally in favor of taking everybody's, confiscating your gun. She changed that when she looked at some polls. The polls weren't looking too good. But they always revert back. Remember, she wants to take your economic opportunity, and she will absolutely kill the American dream for your children. You know, this country used to be about the American dream. They don't talk about that. They talked about it 4 years ago like never before, and they'll talk about it after November 5th. They're going to talk about the American dream. If I win, we will bring back the American dream, bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. So we're pleased to be joined with a few people. You just met Mike Rogers, and I wanted to have him up here separately because I will tell you, this guy is going to be a great senator. I picked him, even though he wasn't always particularly nice to me. He was paid a lot of money to say bad things about me, and that's okay. I fully understand it. But he's been great, and he's got great gravitas, and I think he might even be leading in the poll by a little bit. He's tough as hell, and he's good, and he's got the whole deal going, and I had a lot of choices. I had choices of people that were lovely to me, so nice, but I wanted to pick somebody that could be, number one, a great senator, number two, could win. And I just want to thank you. You've been really working hard, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate Tudor Dixon very much also, job you've done. And I think we have somebody here that I really have known for a long time and liked, and he's got a lot of good ideas. He's got a lot of good ideas, especially when it comes to women's health and health generally and the environment. I'm going to watch him a little bit on the environment, though, if you don't mind. Health, I don't think I'm going to watch him much at all because he's really good. So is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. here? Where is he? Where is he? He's here someplace. I know he's here someplace. RFK Jr. And he's a big part of what we're doing. And he does have great ideas. And getting a Kennedy to endorse a Trump Republican, that was a big deal, right? Good for him. He's a good man. He's a good man, and he's doing a real job, and he really does have some amazing views, to my way of, especially on health of people. Representatives John Molinar, Where's John? He's around here. So, hi, John. Good job you're doing. Very good. Simple job in Congress, isn't it, John? Great job. Bill Heisinger. Bill Heisinger. Bill, thank you, Bill. Good job. Looking good. Thank you, Bill. Great job. Jack Bergman. Jack, thank you, Jack. You got warriors. You got warriors here. Tim Wahlberg. Tim, thank you. Those people are so tremendous, the way they fight in Congress for you. Some don't. I mean, I will tell you, I could name some that won't, but I get myself into a lot of trouble. I'd name some Republicans that don't, but that group of people, they're warriors, so you're lucky to have them, and we're lucky to have you on my side, and thank you all very much. I've endorsed all of them, but they're great. Thank you very much, fellas. Real warriors. Michigan Senate Republican leader, Eric Nesbitt. Eric. Thank you, Eric. Good job. How are we doing? I hear good? Good. He said we're winning. That's good. We got to win. By the way, we win Michigan, we win the whole thing. Like in 2016. But got to vote. Also, House Republican leader Matt Hall. Matt. Thank you, Matt. Good. Good job. Thank you very much. Really good job. So I just want to thank them, but I want to thank everybody for being here today. It's been great. We have early absentee mail-in voting in your state. Starts this week. And if you have your ballot, return it as soon as possible. And if not, get a ballot. Go out and get a ballot. Get as many Trump supporters as you can. You have a lot of people that sit back on the side. They agree with us. They agree with everything. What's not to agree? We want to stop people from killing everybody, you know? We have pretty basic policies, right? Low taxes, good education, strong border, all these different things, common sense things. We don't want to have, you know, in the Olympics, I don't know if you saw that, in the Olympics, I didn't even realize that they have women now, boxers, right? They're boxing for women. And a young, beautiful woman from Italy was boxing a person that transitioned. I've got the language perfect because if I say it a little bit incorrectly, it could mean the end of my campaign. We have to be extremely careful. Like if you dare to say, gee, that's a beautiful woman, you say it very nicely. That's the end of your campaign, you're out of politics. You have to be very careful. So I never see beauty anymore. I never see beauty. But you have this young woman from Italy and she's fighting, and she's a champion fighter against women. And she's fighting in the first match of the Olympics. And she happens to get unlucky enough to meet somebody who transitioned from male to female and got into the Olympics. Two people did. 2 people were able to get in. By the way, I don't want to upset the story, but they each won a gold medal, okay? Different weight classes. 2 people transitioned from male to woman. Each one won the gold medal. But this young Italian girl, she's in there. She's going to show her mom how good she is. She's going to say, I don't care if he transitioned, Mom. I'm so tough. I can take her. I can take her. And she gets up and she puts up her fists. And he goes, for those that don't know too much about boxing, but I love it. I love UFC. I love Dana White. Has Dana White done a great job? Dana White, what a job. But she puts up her, and you know, a left is sort of to keep them away. She gets hit with a left, just a little dumb. Whoa. She looks around. Holy much, I just got hit by a horse. Goes back to her corner. Said, I've never seen this before. I've watched a lot of this stuff. And goes back to her corner and they say, go out there, you can do it, go out there. Okay, I'll go out. It's like, what does Mike Tyson say? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? This is what happened to this young, beautiful lady. Beautiful lady. So she goes out and she gets ready to go again. Boom, he hits her again. And she quits. She said, I can't get it. I've never been hit that hard. This was just like a little defensive punch. He ends up going on to win the gold medal, and another transitioned person won the gold medal. There were two of them, and they both won gold medals. In weightlifting, you got to see this. And for many, many years, they had a certain weight that stayed the same, and they'd put 1/8 of an ounce on one side, 1/8 of an ounce on the barbells, right, Mike? And they couldn't quite do it. The best female weightlifters. A guy comes along, have you lifted before? They ask him or her. And he goes, not much, but a little bit. And he goes up to that barbell. Boom, bing, 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 bing. And swimming, the same thing. The young lady, you saw this. She looks left and she sees all these beautiful athletes that she's swum against for 15 years. Beautiful, beautiful swimmers. She looks to the right, she sees the same thing, but next to her is a giant. A giant. He's got the reach of Wilt Chamberlain. Does anybody know? Wilt the Stilt, said to have the longest reach in history. He could dunk a ball without even leaving. He'd dunk a ball like this. He wouldn't even jump. But she looks at this guy's giant. And she never saw this. And they say, on your mark, get set, go. And she jumps, he jumps, everybody jumps. And as you know, she was badly injured. You know what happened to her, right? I told the story before. Windburn. He went by her so fast that she was horribly hurt. The windburn was horrible. No men playing women's sports. Very, very degrading to women. Right? You agree, Mike? So just to finish up, starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again. We will have no tax on tips. No tax on tips. And boy, this is good for you, because I know exactly where you make your money. I used to have to pay that damn overtime. It would cost a fortune. No tax on overtime. And no tax on Social Security for seniors. Because you've been devastated. You've been devastated by inflation, seniors. For the seniors, no tax on Social Security benefits. So that's it. And by the way, I want to explain something. The people that you see leaving, because nobody ever leaves. And when they do, I finish up quick, believe me. But I couldn't take pictures at the beginning. So I take them at the end sometimes. If I'm late, the plane gets late, you get delayed, lots of things happen. There's a little hurricane going on in Florida, as you know. And so what they do is they say, oh, please come up now at the end of my speech. I said, don't do that, because it looks like they're leaving, like your husband who owns this place. He's not leaving. He likes Trump very much. He made a lot of money because of Trump, right? Right? But these stupid people that are with me sometimes, they say, come on back. 30 people, they get up and they go back, and they're all lined up in the back waiting for me to take a picture because I couldn't do it before. Because they didn't want to keep you waiting, because you're much more important than the wealthy people back there. You're much more important to me than those people. He said, don't do that anymore, but they don't learn their lesson. But we are going to be late for something, but who cares? And while working Americans catch up, we're going to put a temporary cap on credit card interest rates at 10%. Some people are paying 24%. You can't do it. So we're going to have a temporary cap on credit card, 10%. I will settle the war in Ukraine. I met with President Zelensky today. I had a good meeting. We had a great news conference afterwards. She met with him, I guess, yesterday. She didn't have a news conference because she can't do a news conference. She can't answer any questions. She's never going to make a settlement, believe me. And I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III, something I can do that nobody else is going to be able to do. I know them all. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. And right now, with these really stupid people we have running our government, it is under tremendous threat from losing its status as the world's reserve currency. If that happens, that's like losing a war. In many ways, it's worse. This is how we will end the era of inflation, mayhem, misery under Kamala and Crooked Joe, and unleash safety, prosperity, and peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. We're going to do it, and we're going to do it fast. You're going to have businesses flowing back to Michigan. Together, we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, and low inflation, so that everyone can afford the basics. It's called a car, groceries, and a home. Right now, you can't buy groceries, you can't buy anything. They're up so much, 50, 60, 70, 80%. We will stop the invasion, end migrant crime, support our police, strengthen our military, and I already rebuilt the military. They gave about $85 billion to Afghanistan, right? How about that one? In addition to losing 13 beautiful soldiers whose families I got to know and love and respect. And we left a lot of people behind. And you know, very importantly, we gave up a big Air Force base that cost us billions of dollars, named Bagram, billions of dollars, 1 hour away, forget Afghanistan, 1 hour away from where China builds its nuclear weapons. And we gave that up. These stupid people gave that up. You know who's occupying it now? China is occupying that base. Can you believe it? We're going to build a missile defense shield, much of it built in Michigan. We're going to keep critical race theory and transgender insanity out of our schools. And no men in women's sports again. We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections. We are going to make our elections safe and secure. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Comrade Kamala Harris. And we must stop her country-destroying liberal agenda once and for all. She's beyond liberal, by the way. Early absentee voting is underway, so go vote right now. You can do it right now. We want a landslide that is too big to rig, right? Too big to rig. And on November 5th, we will save our country. We will save our economy. It will go down as the most important day, November 5th, in the history of our country. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. We will always put America first. We have to put America first. We will take back our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy with Bobby again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Michigan. God bless you. God bless you. Go out and vote. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Go out and vote.
All right. Trump was late getting on, but he certainly made up for it with that long speech. The people that were there loved it. He looked energized. As he mentioned, just so everybody knows, he said he just got off the stage at 4:11. I don't know how far away it is from Walker, Michigan to Warren, Michigan. We're scheduled to go live again at 5:30. But I'm not sure if he's going to be ready at 5:30, but we'll still go live at 5:30. Remember, we have the second part of the Melania interview that's we're going to show. So, man did it. Yeah, long speech. The numbers he said earlier. So if you guys weren't here earlier, he dropped some new data. That new data that says at this point some crazy stuff about the newcomers, finding the right word here, and how many of these people that have come from other countries have been convicted of murder. So as he's walking off the stage, I want you guys to hear this yourself so you can hear what was said. Listen to this. It's about a 3-minute video, and we'll see. Let's see. Hold on. Let me do it this way so I can actually talk about it with you guys at the same time, because this is astounding. If it's true, well, it's not true. It's not true. It's true, but it's just unbelievable that this is what is going on in this country at this point. I mean, just crazy. All right, here we go. Let's play it.
The Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States. The letter here tells the tale. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. You believe this, Sandra?
Which means they are here, and this is just an unbelievable development. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Good to be with you, John. This is America Reports. Let's get right to Bill Malugin. He's got this news for us. He's live out of Douglas, Arizona right now, where Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit later this afternoon. Bill, the details of this news, what do you have?
Yeah, and Sandra, bear with me. We just got these numbers moments ago, but it's a jaw dropper to say the least. So to set the stage here, let me just explain what these numbers mean. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. Essentially what that is it means migrants who were encountered by DHS but are no longer in federal custody. So who's on this non-detained docket?
Whoa. 13,000 murderers. Nearly 16,000 SA convicts. And 425,000 other convicts. And that's just the people they know. We don't even know how many people got away. This is astounding. It should be over. I love that they dropped this the day she went to the border. This should do it. Done. There's no excuse.
It's illegal immigrants who were caught and released at the border, released with the court date years away. They're in immigration proceedings, combined with illegal immigrants who have already been ordered, deported from the country by a...
I wonder, we'll have to look up and find out how many convicted murderers there are in our jail system right now.
Judge, but are still here roaming the country. So keep that in mind, this non-detained docket. According to a letter that the acting director of ICE just sent to Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, on ICE's non-detained docket, they're currently tracking 425,000 non-citizens who have been convicted of a crime. Of that number, over 13,000 non-citizens have convictions for homicide and are on the non-detained docket, meaning they're roaming the country right now. On top of that, there are another 15,811 non-citizens convicted of sexual assault who are roaming the country right now on ICE's non-detained docket. It doesn't stop there. Those are convictions. The ICE director also says there are currently just under 1,900 non-citizens on the non-detained docket who have pending homicide charges who are roaming the country, and another 4,250 non-citizens who have pending sexual assault charges who are roaming the country on the non-detained docket. So people's eyes might be glazing over right now with all the numbers we just threw at you. Just to put it in a nutshell right here, what we've learned from the acting ICE director via this letter to Congressman Tony Gonzalez is right now there are over 13,000 illegal aliens convicted of homicide who are roaming the United States right now. There are another 15,811 illegal aliens roaming.
How can this be? How can we have convicted murderers running around free? How can we have 15,000 people who have done untoward stuff to women and children just running around? She let them all in. The Democrats don't care. They don't care about Americans. I would defy any troll in here, any Democrat to defend that. How do you possibly defend that? You can't even say the numbers are wrong because they come from, let me say, Mayorkas's department. This was them probably trying to tamp down. Who knows what the real numbers are? So you can't say the numbers are fudged because they put out the numbers. Oh yeah, we let in like 14,000 murderers. Yeah, sorry. Murderers. And you wonder why you need to get out there and get some ammo?
In the country right now who have been convicted of sexual assault, and there are even more who are facing charges for homicide and charges for sexual assault. So this just goes to show, guys, the non-detained docket has exploded under the Biden administration to over, I believe it's 7.3 million. They're anticipating it could hit 8 million by the end of the year. But looking at the numbers on this letter right here, there are currently over 600,000 non-citizens on ICE's non-detained docket who are either convicted, 600,000 non-citizens on this non-detained docket who are roaming the country right now.
600,000. I don't even know how many people we have in the military. So you're telling me 600,000 criminals have been let into this country, and you have no idea where they are. None. How is this possible? What are they trying to do to America? What are they trying to do to Americans who go to work every single day, pay their bills, pay their taxes, and now you're telling me you've let in 13,000 murderers? Dispersed them all over the country? Man, this is really bad. This is really, really bad. That's like 200, 300 guys, murderers, could be women, 300 per state. You just unleashed 300 murderers per state. Good luck. And you're wondering why this stuff is happening all over. You're telling me winning an election was this important? It is this important to you to usher in this globalism crap? It's not bad enough that you're doing all the other stuff with the taxation and the weird transformers. You had to bring in 600,000 criminals?
Of that, 425,000 have already been convicted of crimes. 222,000 are pending crimes. And again, the most serious crimes we just told you about.
This is not what America's supposed to be. I don't care who you are. At this point, you have to realize this is absolutely insane. And Kamala Harris had her hands in it with Dementia Joe. Unless she comes out and says we were forced to. This was, how the government was run because these puppet masters told us we had to do it. You better come clean. No wonder they're terrified of Trump, because as he's clearing out these nut jobs, he's going to have to. There is no doubt that he is going to have to go after these people in office. The treason that was effected upon America, there is no excuse. These people have to be in jail. Kamala Harris, y'all need to start cutting deals. This man, no wonder they want to take him out. No wonder that they're so terrified of him being a threat to democracy. No, he's a threat to you. We all know what you've done. If you signed your hand to a piece of paper and told these people, let them all in, you have committed treason on America. You brought in the worst element of any country and said, yeah, have them in here for free. Let them run around. What kind of scumbag does that? What kind of person wants to put people in danger for a vote? For an ideology? Really? Are you really willing to just put people in complete danger just so you can get a vote, so you can make some money? Man. If we don't know who they are, how will Trump find them? That's going to have to be up to us. Exactly right, Barry. How bad is it that you have to do something like this? Gitmo's not big enough. Just think how many people in government have had their hands in this. Never mind the wars and what you've had kickback. This is unbelievable. I mean, it really is unbelievable. Tom Clancy couldn't write a novel like this. This is great. And we're going to bring in 600,000 criminals and just let them go all over the doggone country. It makes you wonder. I'm telling you right now, you really have to wonder whether or not Eric Adams in New York was right. Are they going after him because he started to speak up? Remember, the lady yesterday when I did the video, she said, it's been over a 10-year period of this corruption. Okay, 10 years. But now, because he speaks out against the newcomers, because we can't even say the flipping word, because we're not even allowed to talk as Americans in our own country for failure of somebody flipping a switch on us because, nope, you can't talk this way about them. They're murderers. The other crime I can't even say. We have to basically choke down our words so that these people feel comfortable and they're not even supposed to be here. What happened to this country? How are any people, Democrats, libnuts, how are you defending this? God forbid somebody climbs in one of their windows. This is not going to end well. This is not going to end well at all. I think you all see it coming. I think everybody knows at this point, this isn't going to finish. It's going to be the purge. It is. People are going to take it into their own hands. You got a whole area of Florida right now that's either underwater or the waters are beginning to recede. And what's going to happen is a lot of those properties are going to be vacant for a while until people begin renovating them. They're going to renovate them. These people live on the coast for a reason. But what happens when these orcs decide, hey, there's some properties over here and nobody's here, so can we just show up and do what we want? And then they meet the justice that'll inevitably come. The Mossberg justice. There's a sheriff over there who has openly said, hey, if people do stuff, take them out. And these nuts that they've imported don't understand here that people fight back. How could any person think it's okay to import 600,000 criminals, yet tell Americans you want to, we need to do something about these weapons. We can't have you have these, quote, assault weapons. No, we're going to have you do this background. Why are we going to go through all these background checks and jump through hoops and these people are murderers and you're letting them right in and giving them money? But Americans, we got to figure out a way to rein in this Constitution thing. You know why? Because this Constitution isn't working for us. What about these 600,000 people you brought in? Oh, you're making me sick. I could go on to this for an hour. I can't take it. I can't take it. Crazy. They're destroying the world. Yeah, we are being forced to pay. You're exactly right. We are being forced to pay for 600,000 criminals to be imported into our country. Something's really wrong here. Maybe it is as simple as my wife says. It is just an evil force. At this point, there's no political or governmental sense that you can take about this. Why would you bring in 13,000 murderers? How do you sit down and go, you know what? Okay, so it looks like this guy's been convicted of chopping somebody's head off, and he's also wasted a couple other people. You're good. How does that even happen? How do you even know how many people this guy is offed? We don't know. We don't know in the backwoods of Mexico or El Salvador if he's chopped off people's heads. We don't know. You only know what this piece of paper says. This guy could have done it 10 times. And now you brought him in. And the media is telling that we're the bad people for questioning it. If you say the two words together, you know those two words. Illegal, and the other one, oh my God, you can't say that. Pretty soon they're going to tell us we can't say murderer. You watch it, it's coming. We can't say SA, can't say what those words mean. Damn, that's why we need that membership, because this is crazy. Y'all need to hear news as it's supposed to be given, not sanitized and washed and filtered. This is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yeah, you should be packing every single day. And if you live in a state where you can't pack, move. Move. That's all I can say about that. I mean, I could say a lot more about that, but I just can't. Just can't on this, the premise that they run things under here. All right, so where am I? I got to catch my thoughts here because I'm so pissed off. All right, so we're gonna, don't forget today, we're gonna give away another hoodie tonight. Go to fanfareshop.org, continue to register. Let me see, I'm gonna go in here and see if I can't give one away right now. I'm gonna go here and live draw. Oh, wait a minute, I gotta go back in here. I'll give them away tonight because I have to re-edit how many I can give away. Unless I can do it right now. So if I can go to here, 1 second. I'm coming. I'm working on this. I'm trying to get it so that we can give away more. Edit. How many prizes? Oh, there we go. I just have to edit here. Okay, so now I can give away one live right in front of you. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Go to the dashboard and live draw. And there we go. All right, so now I can go up over here and I can push this out so you guys can see it. And 1 second, we're doing this live. There we go. All right, so we're going to give away one live right now. I'm going to pick one person and boom, Faith Taylor. Faith Taylor, if you're watching, you just won a hoodie, a Trump hoodie. If not, I'll reach out to you, or Ashley will reach out to you by email. But Faith Taylor, oh, you guys didn't see it. Sorry, my fault. Faith Taylor just won the hoodie. Faith Taylor. That's how easy it is. Just register, and I will go ahead and get this out to Faith Taylor plus the winners from last night. Thank you very much, Faith, for playing along. And we'll give out another one tonight. So Faith Taylor, congrats. Congrats to you. All right, so now what I need to do, with pleasure, is acknowledge everybody who has donated to the channel today, because we greatly appreciate that. Let me put this in order, and let me do it like this. Boop, da boop, da boom. Doing this live, doing it live. All right, here we go. Let's talk to everybody before we get out of here. And boom. William Flanagan from Canada. I just have one thing to say. I've been listening to Candace Owens, and she certainly is bringing a lot of skeletons out of Kamala Harris's closet. I'm beginning to get concerned for her well-being. See, a lot of people have emailed me and have told me to come on and talk about what Candace Owens has said. You can't do that here. You turn into ether. But yes, I have seen it. KJ Nichols, thank you, Barry, and God bless you. And Donald Trump, thank you. Big Cat Brother, hey, Barry, prayers to those affected by the storm. Absolutely. Richard Hector, Decatur, Illinois. Early voting started yesterday. I voted for Trump. Awesome. Crazy Cat Man, thank you very much. Michelle O'Neill, Michael O'Neill, thank you for your work. Thank you very much, Pennsylvania. Justin Robinson, did you see the Rogan interview with Sean Ryan? Apparently, metadata shows a large percentage of Kamala's rallies are the same people busted. Yes. What he's talking about is people have basically been using tracking that became famous in the movie 2000 Mules, where they can check your cell phone and determine where you are and what's going on. And they've been tracking these phones, and they're the same people just being bussed to rally to rally. Everything about her campaign is fake. Everything about her campaign is AstroTurf. Michael Clark, thank you. Hey, Barry, it's important for us to hear DJT's message repeatedly so we can convey his message accurately to folks who are undecided. Absolutely. That's why I was telling people earlier, just because you've heard it doesn't mean someone else has. 808 Pineapple, mahalo. Thank you for the $50 donation. Thank you very much. Jim Smith, thank you. William Stacy, thank you very much. When the stuff hits the fan, need the cast iron skillet, wooden spoon, heavy duty aluminum box of and it's definitely gonna hit the fan. Let me make sure this wasn't the same one. Oh, SV, dude. SB, what are you doing, man? You're one of the moderators, but thank you very much. I know what that's for. Let's put it back in the pot so we can help some people. Yvonne Berger, thank you. Edwin Mendez, thank you. Prayers for Florida. I know it missed you, but Tampa got whacked hard. Cuddle Ooh, thank you. Michael Capetta, thank you very much. Infantry Mindset, thank you. New content creator, just wanted to show my support. Spent most of my life in the military, and now I'm starting to speak out. Need the voices, brother. Need the voices. Jerome Butcher, thank you. Trump 2024. Mr. or Miss Hobson, you see ICE says they let 13,000, yep, just showed it, across the border, and 15,000, as you guys can see what they are. It's nearly 600. It's insane. It's completely insane. I don't even know. I can't wait to look at the news and see how they're going to deflect this. How do you possibly deflect that? Jane Moore, thank you. Arowo, thank you very much. Brad Crane, thank you. BLS Doom Crew, buy Dogecoin. Doge, Department of Government Efficiency. Dogecoin is Elon Musk's crypto, so that's what he was referring to there. And that's what Elon said he wanted to call his new department in Trump's administration. Sandra Smith, yes, vote red down ballot, and thank you, Captain Zog. Go ahead with the red. New York. Man, I would love to see New York flip. Maybe now when they're going after Eric Adams, maybe some people in New York might flip on that. That could be a catalyst. Chris, pups for Trump. This is from Midas. Yeah, he just went out. Carolyn Mosley, thank you. Ernest Walker, thanks, Barry. Trump 2024. Barb Johnson, little something for the Storm Fund. Yeah, as soon as I hear from Samaritan's Purse, yes, for sure. Shane Tankersley, Mike McCarthy, I'm proud to be an American again. Thank you, President Trump. Barry, you're a huge blessing from Dash Hunt Lover. I appreciate you and your family. Thank you very much. Danny Marie Lutrao, thanks to you as well. Michelle in Michigan. Hey, how's it going in Michigan? Approximately 23,000. Okay, so earlier I said, how many do we have right here in America right now? Michelle looked it up. We have approximately 23,500 in American prisons as of 2022. So you just brought in almost the same amount of murderers as we have in the entire country. Thank you, Michelle, for that information. Wendy, thank you very much. Let's see, down here. And Patrick Curley, great job, Barry. I've been watching for a while. You do great commentary. Thank you very, very much. Wow, you brought in as many people as we have just about in the entire country. That's insane. I had a couple comments that I wanted to get to. This one came up today. And it says, I wonder if Barry is going to live stream Vance in the Waltz debate. What you think? What you think, bro? Or lady? Of course, we're going to broadcast that for sure. Courage, liberty. I want to address this. He says, I don't spend money on any membership fee and I'll get my news somewhere else. It's a shame to ask people for money with this economy, eggs and bread or berry. Let me just stop you right there, okay? Let me just tell you something. When I wake up, I look on my computer, I understand I have an internet subscription. When I click a button and I want to go to one of my software, I have a software subscription. When I get in the car, I know I've got to buy gas, and I go ahead and buy gas. And then there's things that I have which I call discretionary expenses. A discretionary expense is like if I want to stop and buy a new hat. Can I afford that new hat? Is it okay with Robin if I spend the money in our budget for that new hat? If I can, then I will buy that new hat. I'm not asking for any money. I'm going to provide a service that people can either buy into or choose not to. There's no shame in that whatsoever because I'm a capitalist and I know that in order for me to bring the value that someone may want to pay for, that is my job. That's my obligation. If someone is willing to fork over their hard-earned money for what I have to say or what I can show them, you can bet your ass I'm going to show them as much as I can to generate that value. If you can't afford to pay for a membership fee, whether it be here or LA Fitness or anywhere else, that is fine. That's your prerogative. But you can't tell LA Fitness, hey, listen, you shouldn't charge for memberships. I'm trying to buy some bacon here. You're trying to sell some memberships. That's not how America works. Perhaps your comment should have been, and for anybody else, is, hey, Barry, I'm not in a position right now to afford a membership. Is there anything you can do for those of us who can't afford a membership? You see, that is how you should have came across. Coming across and saying, you should be ashamed to ask people for money. I ain't asked nobody for money. I ain't asking nobody for money. I'm saying I'm going to provide a service. If you choose not to buy it or can't afford it, that's on you. If you can't afford it but still want it, then you should talk to people who maybe can help you in your situation. Hey, Barry and Ashley, I'd really like to be involved in this membership, but I just can't afford it right now. Is there something you could do? Humble yourself instead of trying to lash out at somebody who's trying to do something. Otherwise, maybe you should just go vote Democrat because they just give you shit. And I mean that in the best of terms of giving you some advice. Never ever think that you're in a situation that someone should be ashamed. Ashamed is what you wrote. Nobody should feel ashamed at bettering themselves. I've grown up with an immigrant father who came here through the front door where nobody gave him any money. He came in, went into the military, came out of the military, started his construction business, built a big construction business. Nobody gave him anything. And he never said, can somebody give me a hammer? I think in this country, too many people want to blame and accuse others for doing something they're not in a position to do. Instead of realizing, and I've said this many times, even in my real estate business, and Robin can attest to this, when I'm buying foreclosures and I'm talking to banks and the bank says, you want to take this property down or you want to, what can we do with this? Yeah, there's someone who's going to get kicked out of their home. There is somebody who is going to lose their property. I didn't do that. They couldn't pay. What do you expect to happen at that point? Somebody is going to buy that property and they are going to make some money on it. That's just how it works. If you don't like that, then maybe you should be a Democrat. Or, as I've told many people, maybe you should just humble yourself and do like Chris Gardner in the movie with Will Smith, Pursuit of Happiness, What do you do and how do you do it? See, that's different. He walked up to that man on the corner and said, what do you do and how do you do it? And then he became a stockbroker. So that's my my walk down information lane at this point. So I don't feel guilty. I don't feel upset. And just trying to tell you, if you need a hand up, it's better than a hand out. All right, Jonas at 5:30, which is about 45 minutes from now. I am almost positive that Donald Trump will indeed be late, because I don't even know how far away Walker is from Warren. But we shall see. We shall see. But I'll be here at 5:30, and I've got the second half of Melania's interview. Thanks for